and gone.
Bowl them.
Gone in Dotega Panzigay.
Western Province win.
He's got him. Easy catch.
What a performance.
Hierdie is baie goed gespeeld.
This an excellent game of cricket.
Game 24 of 32 of this year's CSA T20 Challenge. It's Division 1 men's action as the DP World Lions play host to the World Sports Betting Western Province side. Hi everybody, my name is David Midgley. Alongside me is Dom Hendricks, and the legend himself, Ken Borland, will pop his head in throughout the game to lead us to excellence. It is a privilege to be bringing you this game, and it promises to be an absolute cracker of a game. The news from the middle is that the DP World Lions have won the toss and have decided they'll have a bat. Good evening to you, Dom Hendricks, and welcome back to the commentary box.
Good evening, David. I'm happy to be here again on a beautiful Johannesburg summer's evening.
Yeah, we've absolutely been spoiled with good weather this week. There was a bit of rain yesterday. I wonder if that might play too much of a role in the surface. But you mentioned, Dom, that this promises to be a cracker of a strip for us this evening, rather.
Yeah, so it's exactly the same strip that the Lions played against the Titans on, and if memory serves me, they scored about 258 in that game. Had a look at it yesterday, and it looks very, very good surface. A little bit of grass on it just to give it a bit of pace and bounce, but I've got no doubt it'll be an excellent surface for batting this evening.
And just a tough time for the WSB Western Province side. They've only got that one victory, and unfortunately falling victim to the then winless Hollywood Bets Dolphin side. So they are looking to bounce back. The DP World Lions, after their tour down to the Western Cape, undoing the Gold Rush Boylan side, and it's good to see the momentum that the Lions have built towards the back end of the tournament. The ramifications, Dom, you were just chatting to us before we got on air, and you were just explaining to us who plays whom in order to get the two finalists for this year's competition.
Yeah, so basically one plays two and goes straight through to the final.
Whoever wins that 1 versus 2
yeah,
game.
whoever wins 1 versus 2 goes straight through to the final. Then there will be a game versus 3 and 4, and the winner of that will then play against the loser of 1 and 2 in a separate game, and then the winner of that goes through to the final. So quite a few opportunities if you manage to lose that first game, if you finish in second. But yeah, could be very interesting because there's a lot of teams on sort of very similar points. So yeah, massive priority to finish first, hosting the first eliminator, and then if you finish second, you will host the second eliminator.
So a lot of pressure on the home side here, with an essence that ignites hometown pride. The T20 Challenge promises to be pure cricket excellence and a celebration of communities, shared values, and the passion that unites all of us. We call all the fans to rally behind your team as players gear up to showcase their prowess on the field and stand a chance to win great prizes. Visit cricket.co.za for more information. Hashtag #WazanaWe. And a couple of changes, one change on the Western Province side, as well as 3 for the Lions. John James, who was retired hurt in that previous game, is the man left out for this evening. And Dom, you've got the changes for the Lions side.
Yeah, so there's 3 changes for the Lions. Unfortunately, Junaid Dawood misses out for Kwena Mapaka. Rassi van der Dissen is back in the mix, and unfortunately Zubair Hamza misses out for him. And then lastly, it is Cody Youssef who is in for Luto Sapamla.
Yeah, it's good to see that the teams have been, well, I suppose when you are winning, that you're able to rotate seamers. You're not relying on one or another player. And it's tough for Junaid Dawood to be left out of the side, rather. I mean, he's leading the Lions wicket-taking standings with 13 wickets, so he'll feel maybe hard done by, but it's natural when the Protea does come back from international duty.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's the nature of the beast that you have to deal with. If a Protea does obviously come back, someone's got to make way for them. And looking at the surface, I don't think you'd want to play the extra spin up in Joburg, being quite a good surface over here. So unfortunately for him, he does miss out. But yeah, we've got young Kwena Mapaka that's back in the mix this evening. So a left-arm option for the Lions, and someone that hopefully will bowl quickly this evening.
Yeah, small break in the preparation for his matric finals. Björn Hendricks, left-arm seamer, spent many years up here at the Highveld, so he knows these conditions well. He goes now with one slip in place to Riza Hendricks. Swatted away, short and wide. It's out to the longer boundary, but as I mentioned, the rain will have made sure that the surface will be in excellent condition. A good way to start for the DP World Lions, and that will mean that Riza Hendricks is 76 runs away from the all-time leading run scorer in CSA T20 Challenge.
Yeah, as we look at it again on the replay over here, not a great ball from Björn Hendricks. a proper long up and got the treatment it deserved to the boundary for 4.
Reza Hendricks just, as I said, 76 runs behind Morne van Wyk in the all-time list. Much better from Björn Hendricks. He's got so much experience, having played for the national side and getting his debut, I believe it was here in the test side, and picked up a clump of wickets. But he's been invaluable to this Western Province side, and as captain, he always wants to put a performance together. Dom, as a captain yourself, what goes through your mind when thinking about your own performances and how you need to really contribute to the side's success?
I think most importantly, you really want to lead from the front. So knowing Björn, you'd want to start off like pretty well with the ball. Most noticeably, there was a bit of swing with that last delivery.
Just nurdles this away onto the onside. There's a man out there in the deep, so it's just the one. Reza Hendricks coming off a fresh half century in the last game, 72 from 50 deliveries down in Wellington. That was really what set things up for the Lions in that game down in Paarl.
Yeah, another great knock from Reza. Just showed his class in a what I would say quite a tricky chase. It wasn't the most conducive wicket for batting. It looked a little bit on the slow side, but he showed his class by leading the boys, or taking it home for the boys at the end of the day.
Makwetu facing up for his first delivery. Much straighter this time, just works this away onto the onside, and he's now off the mark. Wandile Makwetu now with 114 runs in this year's CSA T20 challenge, so it's been a good outing for him in this year's competition.
Yeah, you can see there's been a lot of confidence that he's taken from, I would say, last season, number one, playing in the 4-day campaign. And Russell's shown a lot of confidence in him by giving him the opportunity to go up the order and express himself. He's played some really good shots this season so far, and had a great knock against the Warriors after being hit by an unfortunate beamer.
Just wafted at that one. Maybe too excited by his first stroke of the day. Good to see Hendricks to Hendricks, showing us how good the Hendricks surname is. One in commentary and one bowling and one batting. So if you're not a Hendricks, well, what are you doing?
Yeah, just a bit of extra bounce there. So that little bit of grass that I spoke about, giving some pace in this wicket and some nice carry through to the keeper over there.
So 6 from the over, just the last ball of the over. Again, just fending at that one. Maybe noting there was a little bit of extra pace. It's the end of the first one, and as mentioned, it's 6 without loss. What do you think would be a score that they, I know it's very early, but what do you think is a score that they'll be happy with? You mentioned this is a good surface, and that's why I ask it so early. Is 180, 200, is 200 kind of par and 180 too little?
I would agree with that statement. I think these days 200 most teams would be a competitive total, and quite difficult to chase because there's quite a few things that have to go right in your favor when chasing. 180, most teams these days back themselves to chase that quite comfortably. You just need really 1 or 2 partnerships to sort of get that score over the line.
Right, so we'll have some left arm spin from the call-it drive-in. Carl Simmons just eyeing up his opportunities. So there is a man out at cow corner, and it looks like everybody else is in the ring, barring long off. And it's hit up and over the top. Lovely stroke. It's gone all the way. What a masterful stroke. Just got into position early and lofted it over the inner ring and the outer ring as well for 6.
Yeah, great shot from Wandile Makwetu there. A little bit slower from Carl Simmons and just dragged down slightly, a little bit too much width, and dispatched for 6 over extra cover.
Firing in at his legs there, and he just works this away. Mihlali Mpongwana has had a good competition with both bat and ball, contributing throughout this competition, and it's such an important thing, Dom, when your all-rounders are not just boxed into one discipline.
Yeah, he's really shown his value with both bat and ball in this competition so far. So be very interested to see how he goes this evening with the ball. Firstly, a bit later on.
much tighter, so he's not able to get away with it. But this is a good start for the DP World Lions. They're just riding a high at the moment. 3 wins in a row. Just worked to the man at mid-on, doing the fielding down there, and get through for 1. And I was surrounded by Lions players with this fixture. I've got Dom Hendricks next to me. I had Sarah Barber last time these two sides played in CSA T20 Challenge. And that's just on the bounce. No run available there. And it was a tied game in that instance. And Quenema Parker bowled the DP World Lions to victory. It was stressful for everybody. Good to see high quality cricket. Up and over the top, it's very straight. There's a man coming around, and he's undone by the greasy surface here, so they'll come back for 2. Really had to make sure he got around there. Doesn't look quite happy with his back there, but it's the end of 2, and it's 16 for no wicket.
Yeah, great start from the Lions over here so far. Simmons gone for 10 in that first over of his. A little bit too, well, first ball was a little bit too wide and not quite tight enough, but brought it back nicely towards the back end of the over. It looks like we have another bowling change over here. It looks like Mhlali Mpongwana is going to get his opportunity to bowl now.
Yeah, we just mentioned how good he was doing, and Bjorn Hendricks channeling his inner Hendricks telepathy and saying, well, now's the time for Mhlali to make an entrance into this game. And he's just been somebody who's come in leaps and bounds. He got an SAA call-up to the back end of last year against the West Indies A side. He unfortunately got injured fielding, I believe it was at fine leg. He looked like he was going to spend some time up. Fortunately, he recovered nicely for the remainder of the season. Fuller delivery. They're shouting and they're happy because he's been given out. Full and straight. Reza Hendricks maybe falling a little bit over that one. And it's a huge wicket for the WSB Western Province side. Reza's gone for 6. And the Lions are now 16 for 1.
As we have a look here, Mpongwana gets this one nice and full to Reza. Looks like it's skid on just a touch, sort of nipped back to, and trapped him in front, just a bit caught on the crease there, Reza Hendricks. Gone for 6 of 8 deliveries, and to the crease walks Rassie van der Dussen, a man with a wealth of experience.
Yeah, Rassie van der Dussen coming back from national team duty, and so he brings an injection, as you said, of experience. And having opened during the SA20 earlier in the year, he'll be okay coming in this early in the game. You know, sometimes as a number 3 you could spend all day with the pads on, but there are times where you find yourself inside the power play out there in the middle, so he'll be comfortable with it. We don't want to hype him up too much, you know, the commentator's curse is almost inevitable when you do that, but yeah, as you mentioned, some valuable experience here for the DP World Lions. So the slip is retained, deep square, and third man are your men out for the WSB Western Province side. Just coming undone against the Dolphins in their last encounter. They'll want to rectify things before their next game against the Knights at home in 2 days' time. A wonderful way to welcome Rassie to the crease.
Yeah, a bit of intention by Rassie there. Just took a bit of a march down the wicket, got into the channel, and tried to sort of work him onto the leg side there. So showing his intent early on that he's not gonna get bowled to immediately. As we have a look again, Reza just getting caught on the crease there, like I mentioned earlier. A great start here from Mpongwana with the ball.
Rassie van der Dussen is off the mark, just works this nicely onto the leg side. Mhlali Mpongwana really had a great game, I keep saying it, but he had a great game, 3 for 26 from 3 overs in that game against the Dolphins, and contributing with the bat, 30 from 20. And that's exactly, you know, as a captain, you then have confidence in when you give a player that opportunity, whether it be with bat or ball. It means that you know that he's going to produce something magical, and he's done exactly that this evening, getting the huge wicket of Riza Hendricks, bringing Rassie van der Dussen to the crease. Loud call there from Makwetu.
I think the good thing that he's done so far is he's been very, very tight on the stumps. I think almost every ball's hit the stumps, barring that last one where it was slightly shorter. And in this format, you don't really want to give too much width. You want to cramp the batsman up as much as you can. Modern day cricketers, they thrive on width, or modern day batters, I would say, thrive on width. So he's done a great job here so far in his first over.
Exactly what you've just mentioned. Nice and tight to the stumps. No freedom of movement allowed to Wandile Makwetu. And you see the shadow batting there. He comes outside of off stump, trying to create an opportunity for him to get to the other end. And he's just done so well to just slow things down. Could have gotten very ugly for the WSB Western Province side. So excellent timing. Pushes at this one. There's a shout from Makwetu to say, no. End of the over. 3 gone, 17 for the loss of 1 wicket, and good way to curtail a quick start by the DP World Lions.
Yeah, very, very good piece of bowling there by Mpongwana. Only going for 1 run in that over, and most notably getting the wicket of Riza Hendricks. And there's a change from the caller drive end, and into the attack is Wesley Bedger.
So Captain Hendricks deciding that the opening pair weren't doing it for him, and hoping to maybe shift the momentum of this game. Wesley Bedger, 8 wickets in his 10 games. So just a seedling in professional cricket, but boy oh boy can he really cause trouble for batters. Just as I said, an outside edge, and it's gone straight through the hands. You would think that's probably a regulation catch there, and Simmons will be disappointed with himself. That's just gone straight through.
Yeah, Simmons will be very, very disappointed to not take that catch. Looked rather simple chance. Looked like he had a world of time to get his hands behind that. But it almost looks like he just lost it a little bit over there, just as it got to him.
Exactly the plan. Top of off. But how much of a lost opportunity will that be for WSB Western Province to drop a catch or for such an impactful batter? It's a nothing shot really. He's just pushed hard at it, a little bit of movement, maybe trying to force things along. And Rassie van der Dussen says, you're going to give me that reprieve and I will punish you. Stand and deliver.
Great shot from Rassie over there. Bit too much width on this occasion and slightly overpitched, and dispatched over extra cover for 6. Unfortunately, no one in the crowd managed to get around and take that one.
Yeah, and if you are here at the DP World Wanderers, 50,000 Rand could be all yours. Just a one-handed catch and you could be 50k richer. Lovely delivery, lovely delivery. Just tucks his bat in, does Riza Hendricks, and Wesley Bedger with the prime response after being smashed away over extra cover.
Yeah, he's done really, really well there to drag his length back on this occasion. Looks like a type of bowler that sort of hits the bat quite hard. His natural length sort of looks like back of a length, so just looking at how he's going about it, I think he'd want to stay in that sort of area to Rassie.
Just back of a length and exactly where he would want to hit the mark. Van der Dussen on 9, Makwetu on 10. And after winning the toss and deciding they'll have a bat, the Lions lost that wicket, the huge wicket of Reese Hendricks, with the score on 16. So now a partnership is required. Well, that's swatted away. One bounce over the rope and 4.
And that brings to an end the 4th over. The DP World Lions on 29 for 1 at the end of 4. Again, too much width on this occasion from Wesley Beja, and got the treatment it deserved. 1 bounce 4 over sort of backward point. Great cricket shot by Rassie over there. And into the attack is the captain again to bowl the 5th, which is Buren Hendricks.
He's been rotating his bowlers here, not allowing the DP World Lions to feel comfortable with who they may be facing, and trying to stop any rot that might be setting in. He now goes to Makwetu. Carved away. Glorious stroke. Just sat up and hammered this away. 4 runs.
The sound that made off the bat was phenomenal. I think as any batter, there's no greater feeling than hitting the middle of your bat. And especially these white kookaburra turfs, they fly off the bat when you get them right. Great piece of batting there by Wandi Makwetu. Again, it looks like he's here to play today. It's great to see. Hopefully he can get a nice big score for the Lions.
That statement said with a small amount of bias. Yeah, I think it's important every time your players that maybe have found their way into the side that they contribute or take opportunities that they're given, because what it does is it creates depth, so that in the event of national call-ups or injuries, you feel confident in those who are replacing your regular players. And I think the Lions have done well to create that depth over the last couple of years. Just a sniff of that one. The old dog experience, Buren Hendricks, not to be outdone by Wandile Makwetu.
Yeah, great piece of bowling there by Buren. Found quite a good length over there. And yeah, Wandile Makwetu's had a bit of a waft at that one and played and missed. Decent power play for the Lions so far, going at 7.3 to the over. Currently 33 for 1 after 4.3.
Outside edge, it's a thickish one. It'll race down to Mpongwana at 3rd man. So they just get through for the 1. Doesn't look happy though. He's clutching his arm. I hope he's not done himself a misdeed.
I think I've had that experience before. Sometimes from all the throwing that we do, your arm doesn't take well when you've overloaded it a little bit too much, and with a quick release over there, technique probably wasn't as good as it should have been, so yeah, just clutching his arm a little bit there. Most noticeably, a change in the field to Van der Dussen. Mpongwana comes up from deep 3rd man, and they've pushed back a deep backward point. So interested to see how Buren Hendricks goes about this with the change in the field.
Especially with that long boundary out towards backward point. And just punched. Sounded so glorious as it came off the willow there, but not finding a way through. And now the umpires are just saying to Buren Hendricks, you're encroaching a little bit, just off your screen there.
Yeah, most noticeably, Björn Hendricks is actually notorious for running on the wicket. Gets a little bit too tight, so I'm sure the umpire's having a word with him to get off the danger area over there.
Kaintini was another seaman that struggled sometimes with running on the danger strip. Especially coming around, just struck in front. And umpire's not moved. Maybe just pitching outside leg. It's the end of 5. It's 34 for the loss of 1 wicket. 10 lucky students stand a chance to win up to 100,000 Rand towards their outstanding tertiary fees by simply attending any of the T20 challenge games. Visit cricket.co.za or our social media pages for more information. T's and C's apply. Wazanawe Student Challenge. Be part of it. 1 over to go before the end of the power play, and it's a good delivery there from Björn Hendricks. He seemed very convinced, but the umpire's not interested. Yeah, umpire Birkenstock not moved. Beja to continue from the call it drive in. Shorten, heaved away, and that'll go all the way for 6.
Great shot from Wandi Makwetu there. Dragged down slightly, and he's taken on the guy in the deep to the long boundary, but cleared him comfortably in the end. A great piece of timing by him. 6 runs.
And immediately the field changed. Deep square. It's just lurking there. You see, it was on your screen for but a moment. So there's clearly a plan here for Beja to try and dismiss Makwetu. Just hits this on the bounce to the man on the ring. Not able to get it past Eddie Moore, who's also not had the worst tournament with bat in hand.
Yeah, great knock from him. Was it about a week ago against the Titans? Yeah, he came out guns blazing and yeah, played some really good cricket strokes.
A little bit straighter, and there's a man out there in the deep to do the cleanup work. So just the one there. They're going at 7.5 to the over. 3 balls left before the power play concludes. Do you think the Province side will believe that if they get another wicket here that they would have come out on top in this power play?
Yeah, I would agree with that. With 3 balls to go, ideally you want to take a wicket just before the power play concludes, just to stem the flow or sort of stem the momentum, I would say.
Not able to beat the man there.
I feel like in his head there he feels like he's missed out there, because anything on the pads with not a lot of protection on the leg side, he was hoping to get a little bit more than just a dot over there. With that being said, the slip comes out and goes into mid-wicket, into that vacant mid-wicket area.
Deciding Simmons would be better served out there on the onside, because to the right hand of Hendrickson you might find yourself picking up 2 or 3. To give our viewers some perspective of how long it is on the leg side, it's almost Bloemfontein or Potchefstroom in the distance. So there's plenty of 2s and 3s out that way if you hit it soft enough. So comparatively, the offside is much shorter, and as you all know, the ball in the high fall just cruises through the air. So value for money in that direction, outside edge, and it's squeezed away. That'll race away to the boundary. A despairing dive there at backward point from Abdallah Bayumi, but he couldn't get a hand on it. It's the end of 6, and it's 45 for 1.
Yeah, just angled in slightly there from Wesley Beja and squared Rasif Vanadasan up, and lucky to get a bit of outside edge on that and beat backward point for 4. I think the Lions would be quite happy with that power play, only losing 1 wicket over there. 45 for 1 after 6, as we mentioned earlier. And now is the interesting part of the game. We always call it the sort of momentum phase. So if the Lions can sort of look to gain some momentum here, building it up to the last sort of 6 or 7 overs, if one of these two can still be in at that point, it sets them up nicely towards the back end for the likes of Evan Jones and Delano Potgieter to come in and loosen their shoulders up.
So the change in bowling once again from the golf course in. Mihlali Mpongwana makes a return, and there's going to be a change in the field long on. Oh, no, bit of a U-turn there. They changed their mind. It was Wesley Beja who was sent out into the ether, but quickly welcomed back home. Glorious, absolutely immaculate. There's probably one other person that will be happier with that shot, and it's Dom Hendricks sitting alongside.
Yeah, what a great shot that was from Wandile Mkwetu. Again, just the noise that made off the bat as it raced off through extra cover and wide over mid-off. Great piece of timing. Wow, he's looked actually really, really good this evening. 26 he is, not out of 16 deliveries. And again, like I alluded to at the start of this over, he'd be wanting to be batting in that 14th or 15th over for the DP World Lions.
A little bit straighter this time, and he just nurdles this onto the onside. There is protection out there in the deep. To give you some perspective, deep square, very wide, fine leg, and third man as well as deep cover. And that brings up the Lions 50 runs from 38 deliveries, 5 fours, and those 3 sixes.
To find a Dyson, Bjorn Hendricks has just made a slight change in the field. He's pushed long on back, so just the 4 men in the ring.
On a full toss, and he's not going to miss out on that one. Flicked away to the onside, outside, off stump, and he's worked that away onto the onside, wide of long on. Wonderful stroke, and it's 4 runs.
Yeah, unfortunately not the best ball from Mpongwana over there. And Van der Dussen, or a player like Van der Dussen, is not going to miss out on that. Got its rewards for that great shot that he just hit over there.
It's a good bit of wrists there. Maybe he's been spending some time with batting coach Hashim Amla, learning the skills of a master. It's much better from Mpongwana. This one's dribbled away down to third man for the single.
Yeah, good piece of batting by these two. 2 boundaries in this over so far, and noticeably 2 singles, so not really giving Mpongwana any time to sort of settle to one batter.
Squeezed away for the single. Just 1 ball remaining in the 7th. We'll have a commentary change at the end of the over. Please do share this link with your friends. Like and subscribe so that you know when Cricket South Africa is going live. We love bringing you these games. You are equally a part of the commentary team as we are, and so share your thoughts. Who do you think is going to win?
Another change in the field over there. Sorry, David.
No, go for it. It's all you.
Fine leg has come up into the ring. George Linder's in the ring, and they've pushed back a deep mid wicket by the looks of things. So probably going to be a little bit straight on the pads.
With a bit of a double bluff there as this one's squeezed out down to third man. So the end of 7 overs. The Lions, after winning the toss and deciding they'll have a bat, are 57 for a loss of 1. Our Proteas men will take on the current ICC Men's T20 World Cup champions, India, in November for a thrilling 4-match T20 series. Visit cricket.co.za for your tickets. Hashtag Wazanawe and be part of it. Good to see some families out here enjoying the cricket at the iconic DP World Wanderers. And you can join in on the action as well if you get your tickets at cricket.co.za. Some good cricket in store. Somebody who always promises to provide some excellence. George Linder will join the bowling attack as Ken Borland joins me. Good evening, Ken.
Good evening, David. Yeah, first sign of the other left-arm spinner in the Western Province team, George Linder. Kyle Simmons bowled an over earlier. First ball got hit for 6. Magnificent shot by Wandeni Makwetu. Went for 10 in the over. But it's Rassie van der Dussen on strike at the moment, who's got away very fluently to 23 of 16 balls. Again, picking the gaps well, van der Dussen tonight, and Wandile Makwetu has also played some really fantastic strokes, 28 not out off 18 balls. David, 45 in the power play. Good score without being an incredible one, I guess.
No, they certainly didn't get off to a flyer, but it's a comfortable one for the DP World Lions, despite the loss of Reza Hendricks, trapped in front.
A little bit straight from Linder and just worked away to the mid-wicket area for the single. Yeah, what a delivery that was by Mhlali Pongwana, his first ball of the game. Absolute beauty, jagging back at Reza Hendricks. I think the only thing that might have saved Reza, or might have even been in the umpire's mind, was bounce, but I don't think it was going over personally. Quicker from Linder, but again the Lions just working the singles well here. They it's that phase of the game now, isn't it, David, where the fielders are back and boundaries are always welcome, but perhaps not as much of a focus. And he's picked the gap beautifully over extra cover. Has Wandile Makwetu. Second time he's gone in that area. 6 the first time, 4 on this occasion.
You mentioned, Ken, that boundaries are very welcome. Well, he's technically opened the door and beckoned the boundary in there with that stroke, just giving himself some room. And
that lofted back foot drive over the cover is clearly a strength of Makwetu's.
Presumably his coaches growing up didn't throw too many half volleys, so you have to get better at playing off the back foot.
I've seen him hit it well off the front foot as well. I wouldn't recommend half volleys for Western Province. But more flight this time from Linder. And that'll be one down to long on. Makwetu now on 34 of 22. Yes, 34. No, it's the end of the over, so he's on. Yep, 34 of 22.
You were too good, Ken. Too good for your own good. It's 8 gone at 65 for the loss of 1 wicket.
Yeah, I just doubted myself a bit there. David Wandile Makwetu has really come into his own opening the batting for Lions in T20 cricket.
It's not a natural association that fans of Wandile Makwetu would have, having him at the top of the order. But he's taken it with both hands and made sure that when he walks out into the middle, he's not going to throw his wicket away easily, as Tiwakaya Nabe replaces Mpongwana from the golf course end.
Another first-time bowler in this innings. That's a good start by Nabe, just be the one. Yeah, I like that Makwetu has shown a lot of intent up front. He's been fluent, and the 50 partnership is up between Rassie van der Dussen and Wandile Makwetu. They've shared it exactly between the two of them, and it's taken just 36 balls.
And credit to the Western Province side, Ken, because they haven't strayed. they've not bowled a single extra yet. In the 9th over of game is commendable, certainly.
Oh, attempted slog sweep by Rassie van der Dussen. It's a strong shot of his, and maybe we'll get a replay to see how close to off stump that was.
Oohs and ahs from the World Sports Betting Western Province players. They know that could have been the breakthrough that they needed, but sometimes things don't always roll your way.
Yeah, Tibukai Nabe, he's no great pace, but he's what I would call a nagging bowler. There again, Van der Dussen, and again beaten.
It was one of those where you thought that if he did get a hold of it, so just having a look at the replay, if he did get a hold of it, it would have gone to tomorrow. But it shows, as you mentioned, the skill of Tibukai Nabe. Just persistent in line and length and good control.
Again, a big shot for not huge reward for Rassie van der Dussen, very much off the inside half of the bat for one.
Determined to get to the other end. Didn't look convincing with his first 3 shots. Now he'll try and offer some advice to his partner.
You mentioned how tight in the Western Province had bowled, and I think they had that bowler did really well in the power play. I thought we heard Tom Hendricks, the Lions Red Bull captain, saying that it looks like a belter of a batting pitch for him. Little shuffle down and over the top by Mokwetu, and that's gone all the way, just missing the wooden bleachers over the covers.
Elegant is the way I'd describe that stroke. He never felt like he's gone out there and slogged it. Just comes down the wicket, inside out, and a shot that probably wouldn't be out of place in that golf course that's just behind the open east stands here at the DP World Wanderers.
Yeah, fantastic blow by Wandile Mokwetu, and that puts Nabe under a bit of pressure. 1 ball left in the over though. It's been a good over up to that point. Slapped it out! Straight to Buren Hendricks at mid-off, a deep mid-off, and that's a disappointing finish to an innings that really promised so much, but a very good hand by Wandile Mokwetu.
Yeah, he's gone for 41, and I suspect he'll be slightly disappointed with himself. Looked like a ball that just stuck in the surface. You can just see the disappointment as he exclaims, but Nabe bowling a ball that just plugged in the surface, and Buren Hendricks making the most of a regulation catch. So the second wicket falling now for the DP World Lions.
Yeah, Mokwetu out for 41 off 25 balls. He had 3 4s and 3 6s. He's certainly done a good job for the Lions at the top of the order. We had our first real big rains of the summer last night here in Johannesburg. I wonder if there maybe isn't just a little bit of moisture around still in the pitch. You know, it was out in what sun we had all day today, but it wasn't a particularly hot day. And it still has a sort of cool feeling to it. Which, I think why there is a little bit in the conditions for the bowlers still this evening.
Early 20s as we look out towards the Johannesburg sky. It's clear now, but as you mentioned, Ken, quite a serious downpour yesterday. Maybe there's something on offer for the tweakers.
Esterhuizen down the pitch straight away. Or Rassie van der Dussen rather. Just a single. So Connor Esterhuizen has come in ahead of Mitchell van Buren. Fairly interchangeable, I would guess, Esterhuizen and van Buren.
Yeah, they've both had their opportunities this season, and they came right at the exact time that the Lions needed them to.
And Connor Esterhuizen is underway. First ball. He'll enjoy coming in with more than 10 overs to go. Gives him a chance to play a substantial innings. Always used to feature more in the top order for the DP World Lions, but this season used as a finisher, and has certainly shown that he's got the hitting ability for that role.
I'm looking forward to this battle, Ken, between George Linde and Rassie van der Dussen. Linde's going to look to frustrate him here and really cut out his scoring options.
Two very experienced cricketers. More flight that time from Linde. Van der Dussen, I think he got two, but the fielding is too good by Western Province. Valentine Katime, he's a bit of a live wire in the field. He gets in quickly. These two, Linde and Van der Dussen, would have come up against each other many a time through the years. Against Connor Esterhuizen, not so much for George Linde. And put away on the cut. Oh, it's a good bit of fielding. Very good fielding by Eddie Moore out on the cover boundary there. He's saved the boundary, certainly.
Great bit of work there. He really had to move around with this shot. A little bit too much width created for Connor Esterhuizen. It wasn't much width, but it was too much to give him that. He's done well to just tuck it back in.
Eddie Moore in action again. So that's the halfway mark. We've had 10 overs gone, 79 for 2. And David Mitchell halfway through. What do you think the Lions are aiming for? Yeah.
Well, when I did have that look with Tom Hendricks after the first over, what you would think is a good score, 200 was the number that came up. And I suspect with the averages for day-night games in the 163 mark, if I'm not mistaken, 180 is kind of middle of the road, Ken. You'd probably think that 180, especially with the fact that Reeza Hendricks is dismissed, and as well as Swanile Makwetu, so the responsibility of leading this innings for the Lions will be on the shoulders of Rassie van der Dussen.
There's Nabe again. Wrapped on the pads. Yeah, your target of 180 would mean scoring 101 runs in the last 10 overs. If they don't lose too many wickets, certainly on for the Lions.
And it's the first extra of the day, Kim. The leg by. There's some other cricket on the go. The Knights playing the Dolphins, and the Rocks playing the Warriors. So everyone vying for those positions in their log standings. And that one is the dead one.
Yeah, he didn't release it.
Well, it was
clever of Nabe because he saw Van der Dussen get into position early for the scoop. No, I'm not going to bowl to you if you're going to try silly stuff like that, Rassie van der Dussen.
Absolutely. Yeah. It was unfortunate that the game last night between the Dragons and the Titans washed out.
Oh, off the top edge, but it's safe. Over the wicket-keeper's head, and it goes all the way. He's got a very good top edge, Rassie van der Dussen.
Those bats are very, very wide, Ken, and they've got enough in them to essentially edge it for 6. It's an incredible stroke. Tried to play this onto the onside and got all of it in the end because it sailed over the wicket-keeper's head all the way for 6, and now they're having to play a bit of Marco Polo to try and locate the ball halfway up the side screen. There's a lone security guard trying to go retrieve it.
Yeah, well, you can't get more than 6, so it didn't matter that Van der Dussen scored it over the wicketkeeper's head or over cow corner, gloriously out the middle. He's an innovative chap, Rassie van der Dussen, but that's the third time he's tried the sort of power sweep on the leg side. The first 2 times he didn't make contact against Nabe, and that time he made just enough contact. Anyway, the ball is back, and Nabe has now conceded a couple of sixes.
So 7 from the over, and we're just barely in.
Fancy, has he walked across too much, Rassie van der Dussen? I think it's sliding down leg. Umpire Vosloo, yeah, is already signalling leg by. But Rassie van der Dussen seems really intent on working Nabe across on the leg side. Nabe is bowling into the right-hander, but he's bowling quite a disciplined offside line.
I wonder if it's just because of the shortness of that leg side boundary, Ken.
This one now does go offside. Connor Esterhuizen.
15 to 20 meters difference between the 2 boundaries.
Yeah, and especially with the way Nabe has kind of been shaping the ball into Rassie van der Dussen. His intent is playing.
Just eyeing up that deep square fielder there. Deep square, and deep mid wicket, and long on, long off, cover sweeper.
Yeah, that's good. Good disciplined bowling by Tuakaya Nabe. You mentioned this is the final week really of round robin play in the CSA T20 Challenge, and it's going to be very closely contested. The DP World Lions are currently top of the standings with 18 points. Oh, and now he strays down leg this Nabe.
They were top of the log, but remember last night's
yes,
washout means that the Dragons ascend, but obviously with the Lions having the game in hand, they have the opportunity to once again mount the summit of the CSA T20 Challenge.
Nicely clipped for 1 though. Yes, you're quite right, David. The 2 points for the washed out game mean the Dragons are on 19, the Lions are on 18, Titans 17, and the battle for 4th is going to be particularly interesting. The Warriors at the moment are in 4th place on 12 points, but the Knights on 8, and particularly Western Province, if they can win tonight and go to 11 or 12 points, they'll fancy their chances. And that's the end of 11 overs gone now, 90 for 2.
Some of the students trying to get their hand on the 100k to add to their kitty for tertiary education.
Carl Simmons is back. Quicker, and Rassie van der Dussen can't beat Pongwana.
10 runs from that first over. See, he'll want to make recompense. Long on, long off, a cow corner, deep square leg, and a cover sweeper.
Simmons, of course, played a bit of cricket up here at the Wanderers for the Joburg Super Kings in the SA20. Going flatter, and Van der Dussen was advancing.
Yeah, that run rate now 8 to the over. So you wonder if this Western Province side, if they're going to make inroads here, it's got to be through restricting, building pressure, trying to take opportunities, but you're not able to really when guys are rotating strikers. These two have done so well.
Yeah, I think Western Province will settle for singles. They've just got to make sure they're not conceding a boundary as well every over. So far so good for Simmons, and this comeback over straight down the ground though, but the long on will get across to that. Not the sweetest of timing by Rassie van der Dussen.
Yeah, it was Bird that was doing the fielding down there in the deep and jammed his foot into the surface when getting that. Just got to be so careful. We saw Tony Dezorzi undo his knee for the national side in much drier conditions, but the effect is still the same.
Yeah, I wonder if it is maybe still a little bit damp out there. So looking to finish well, Kyle Simmons. More round arm, and he'll be very happy with his comeback over. It's gone for just 4 runs. It's 94 for 2 after 12 overs.
The fourth Black Day will see the Proteas women take on England on Sunday the 8th of December at a 10 a.m. start. Get your tickets at cricket.co.za, #EndGBV, and let us take a stand for equality.
So just looking back at the permutations in this final week of round robin play, the Lions of course playing Western Province this evening, and then they end their campaign with a visit to Potchefstroom on Saturday to take on the Northwest Dragons. That could potentially be a playoff for first position on the log if the Lions get up tonight. And again Nabe has beaten the batsman outside off stump.
He's got their number, Ken. Certainly knows what needs to be done here in order to prevent these DP World Line batters. He comes well across his stumps there and still doesn't connect in the way he would have hoped. There's a clear plan here from the Lions when bowlers coming in from the golf course and they want to attack that short boundary.
Again, Esterhuizen swinging to leg, and I can't help thinking, but maybe over extra cover might be a more effective target with Nabe bowling outside off stump.
Especially since the man that's out sweeping on the offside, Ken, is very square, almost a forward point. And so Björn Hendricks has heard your thinking, your valuable insight, and said, well, I'm going to toddle off down to long off, but very wide.
Still think over extra cover is still on. If you're good enough batter to pull it off, of course. We saw Wandile Makwetu pull it off a couple of times to great effect in his 41 of 25 balls. He and Rassie van der Dussen put on 57 for the second wicket. He's got that one, and that's all the way onto the grass bank. 6 runs for Rassie van der Dussen. At last he got that power sweep out the middle.
It's almost inevitable. Tiwakaya now just frustrated with himself. 2 straight. Angling it in. Rassie van der Dussen coming well across there. Just flicks it away.
So the 100 up for the Lions off 77 balls. Shimmy and pull and straight to the fielder at deep square leg. And Eddie Moore takes the catch. Rassie van der Dussen gone for 43.
He did so well, did Rassie van der Dussen, to finally get the 6, and Nabe has the last laugh. Good bit of bowling from the Western Province seamer. Saw Rassie coming down the wicket and stuck it in the surface. It just plugged and found precisely the man he was looking for. 101 for 3 brings Delano Potgieter to the wicket, Ken, and he's had a healthy CSA T20 challenge. One of the higher run scorers for the Lions this season. His strike rate has been through the roof as well. In previous games, getting up to over 200 in those innings.
Yeah, and the Lions certainly, you could see in that Van der Dussen shot, and you can see with Delano Potgieter coming in, they feel the need to accelerate. I said the 100 came up in 77 balls, and that's actually, the second 50 has been slower than the first 50, which is probably not ideal for the Lions. 38 balls for the first 50, 39 for the second. So Delano Potgieter, the left-hander, in to, well, give Nabe something different to think about as well. He's come around the wicket now to the left-hander. But again, he gets it dead right just outside off stump. So Nabe finishes his third over. He's been very impressive. 2 for 24.
Just picked out the man. Couldn't have asked for anything better. Kurum Tiwakaya Nabe. Now there's a bit of a conference there, just to the right-hand side of your screen, is the decision makers of the side deciding who's going to get the ball in hand.
Plenty of bowling options for Western Province. Nabe is the only bowler who's bowled more than 2 overs. So Captain Buren Hendricks can pretty much take his pick from any number of options, pace or spin. It looks like it's going to be a bit of seam from Wesley Bedger.
It's been a little bit expensive this evening, Ken. 23 from his 2 overs. So he'll want to change his fortune here in his second spell.
As long on going back. He is. So he's got long on, third man, fine leg and deep square on the boundary. Oh, what a beautiful delivery. And he's been given out LBW, I presume. Or was it caught behind? Well, whatever it is, Connor Esterhuizen is not very happy. He's an unhappy chappy at the moment. Let's watch the replay.
Yeah, I think the only person he could be upset with is himself, because he really didn't commit to a shot there. Came across and the ball jagged back. Bit of a sniff, and Smith completed the catch. It's the 4th down now. Esterhuizen's gone for 8 from 12. And the DP World Lions 101 for 4.
Well, there was a lot of movement off the seam, that delivery from Wesley Bedger. And yeah, I think the Lions bowlers might be quite interested to see what's happening in this innings. 101 for 4 now, as ever reliable Mitchell van Buren comes to the wicket. No longer captaining the Lions in this competition. That's because of the return of Proteas spinner Bjorn Fortuin, who of course led the DP World Lions to the CSA T20 Challenge title last season.
Importantly here for Ken, as we watch this dismissal once again, for the Western Province side, they've got 2 new men at the crease, so that'll really put the brakes on any momentum the DP World Lions have. You've got rid of the 2 batters. Now you've got 2 fresh meat options.
And Mitchell van Buren off the mark straight away. Just interested in the reaction of Western Province wicketkeeper Daniel Smith. Either he thought the edge was absolutely obvious and there's no way the batsman's not going to walk, or he wasn't too convinced, because there wasn't much reaction from him. Of course, the bowler went up straight away. Around the wicket now, reached to Potgieter, who is also trying to get himself in. So, unfortunate double blow that the DP World Lions have suffered. It means they have 1 batsman in who's faced 2 deliveries now, and Mitchell van Buren has faced just 1 ball.
I think this is going to be a crucial phase for both sides. We were talking at the halfway stage of the lines getting about 180, but this could really shift the flow of the game in favor of Western Province.
Bit edgy by Van Buren, but they're going to come back for 2 as Nabe makes a tumbling stop.
Applauded by his teammates. Good bit of fielding there. Is 180 Ken still a feasible, attainable task?
Well, I think if someone gets in and gets really stuck in for the DP World lines, it is possible. But I think the one thing about this innings is that we've consistently been lowering our expectations in terms of totals. Oh, stuck on the pad. Big appeal from Bedstow. Was he just outside the line? Was there a bit of inside edge? Umpire Arno Jacobs unmoved. Bedstow, you can see, still asking there, and Arno Jacobs politely turning him down again.
Just said, I'm not interested in that, young man. Immediately walking away, and it's always the indicator that the umpire is not interested in what you are purporting to sell. The change in the field means third man comes in the ring, as well as traffic cop directing there from Smith. Fine leg is going to come into the ring, so Nabe will join the ranks.
Slower ball from Beja. And that is 14 overs gone. It's 107 for 4. And we will say goodbye temporarily to David Midgley. And very great pleasure to welcome back Dominic Hendricks, the Lions red ball captain.
Evening, Ken.
Dom, have you been a little bit surprised by how the pitch is played?
Yeah, very, very surprised. It looks sort of like as this innings has gone on, and as this ball's got a little bit older, it's sort of held in the wicket a little bit more. So it looks like a little bit two-paced. Sort of on the shorter side, you saw from the distance dismissal, a short ball sort of dug into the wicket, no pace on it, and yeah, Rassie unfortunately couldn't do anything but hit it straight to the man at deep square. So yeah, very, very intrigued. I've got a sneaky suspicion that a bit of rain had its part to play in the way the conditions are playing right now.
Yeah, I think more moisture still around than we expected, and I think the Lions might be happy with 160 now in their 20 overs. George Lindo is back to bowl his third over. Delano Potgieter on strike. Oh, too short. Gets away with it though.
Looks like that's him in the box as he's down on his haunches there, trying to shake it off. Yeah, most noticeably George Linder bowling from the golf course end, and Delano Potgieter to the leg side's got the bigger boundary. So good bit of captaincy from Buren Hendricks here, making sure that the left hand is hitting to the slightly bigger side. Slightly short, and Potgieter tucks it into the leg side just to deep mid wicket for a single, and that brings on to strike Mitchell van Buren. Yeah, very, very intriguing as it stands now. Sort of lost two vital wickets there, two men just as they were starting to look really, really good and starting to get a nice partnership going. So I think the Lions need a little bit of some impotence here, so a little bit of intent, and no better man than Mitchell van Buren. He's very, very proactive against spin, and one of the better players of spin going around the country, I would say.
Yeah, so busy and quick between the wickets as well. Oh!
And as I say that, he's given himself a bit of room, and Linda's snuck through and taken leg stump out the ground. The DP World Lions 108 for 5 after 14.3.
That just seemed to zip through Van Buren's defences.
Yeah, again, it looks a little bit tricky. So that one slightly on the fuller side, like on a good length, hitting the top of the stumps, and that sort of skid through. But the one that sort of Delano faced, a little bit shorter and stuck in the wicket a little bit more. So again, speaking to this the two-pace nature of this wicket that I alluded to with the rain that we had yesterday. But to the crease comes the big man, Evan Jones. He's been really, really good this season so far when he's had an opportunity to bat for the Lions. Just having a look at the numbers over here, striking at 176 on the occasions that he has batted so far. So, yeah, this could be the guy that sort of gets this back end of the innings going for the Lions. I'm sure he'll give himself a couple of balls just to have a look at what's going on and get a bit of a feel for the conditions.
Yeah, well, they say nothing slows the run rate more than wickets, and this has been a prime example of it, because whoever you are, the batters still need 2 or 3 deliveries just to get themselves in.
And that on a good length, and Jones gets forwards to that and just punches it straight to extra cover for no run. Been a very good over for the Western Province so far, the World Sports Betting Western Province. Just the single off the over so far and the wicket of Van Buren as Linda comes in. Slightly straighter and a bit of outside off from Evan Jones as it goes down to long off for a single. Yeah, as I alluded to, or as we've been discussing now, the conditions coming in, it just looks really, really tricky to get going straight off the bat. And yeah, just get any sort of flow in your innings going. It looked really quite easy when McQuarrie was batting. But since it's looked really tough for everybody that's sort of come in so far.
As the ball gets softer, I presume that makes a difference as well.
Yeah, most definitely. So Linda bowls this one just outside off stump, and it's hit straight to extra cover and brings to a close the 15th over. The DP World Lions are 109 for 5 with Potgieter on 3 and Jones at the crease on 1. So 30 balls left in this innings. And it looks like we have a change at the caller drive end. Looks like Charlie Mpongwana is coming back into the attack.
They would just see how well Western Province have bowled tonight, really. Very good figures for Tiwikaya Nabe, George Linder, Mtlali Pongwana. He's had a good evening. He's coming back now.
And the captain too, Buren Hendricks, having his 2 overs for 11. By the looks of things, whenever guys are heading sort of to the slightly longer side, it looks like it might be a bit of pace off and into the wicket to get that, well, sort of let the ball do the talking with it sitting in the wicket a bit longer. And as this ball's got a little bit softer, as you said earlier, it has been a lot more difficult to get anything behind it with the bat. In comes Mpongwana to Jones, and it's full and driven straight to extra cover for no run.
Evan Jones, of course, is an enormous hitter of the cricket ball. Once he's in, it's a long boundary on the leg side though, but if he gets it properly, he'll clear those 2 men out on the leg side boundary.
Yeah, if memory serves, this exact wicket a couple of seasons ago against Western Province, he hit one onto the golf course. So just speaking to how well he can hit the ball. Ooh, a bit of a misfield there at backward point as Jones gets forward and defends it straight to backward point. Delano Potgieter turns him down for the single. So again, another good start here from Western Province in this over. 2 dot balls and putting the pressure straight straight onto the Lions. Sort of saying, we're not going anywhere. You've got to sort of try and make a play over here. So be very interested to see what or how Jones goes about this next delivery as Mpongwana runs into bowl. And it's slightly shorter, tucked into the leg side. And Delano Potgieter's turned for 2 beautifully there. Great piece of running. Sort of not had enough pace to get straight to long on. So mid-offset to run around and do the tidying up.
Excellent running. It's there'll be a lot on the minds of these two batsmen. There's a lot going on. I mean, they'll have a target in mind, but you also don't want to overextend yourself and end up with 140 all out. They're also trying to get themselves in at the wicket. Don't want to get bogged down.
Oh, and it looks like Mpongwana has actually overstepped here. I saw Ono Jacobs point out his right arm for a no ball. Yes, indeed. So, back of a length, straight to Jones, and he's edged it down to third man for a single, which brings on to strike Delano Potgieter for the free hit. And our first one of the evening so far. As you can see, 4 extras bowled by Western Province this evening. Just showed you how disciplined they've been with the ball so far.
Yeah, they've been excellent. And the Lions will be hoping that this free hit now is just the thing to bring a bit of impetus into the innings, get this partnership going. They've both been in for half a dozen balls now. Dom, do you think they're ready to launch, or is it still too soon?
I think it's a little bit too soon. Obviously, with this free hit, I think Delano is going to definitely swing for the fences here, no doubt about that. Interesting field set over here. We've got a deep backward point, a deep cover, and we've got a third man fine leg in the ring and a square leg in the ring. So my guess is probably going to be full and wide here. Exactly that, and it's another no ball.
Well, he's a big, tall man. Mtlalani Mpongwana has a very long stride, but this is now becoming a bit problematic for him.
So just going back to what you were saying over there, Ken, I think the Lions would be thinking here, last 3 overs, they can sort of swing for the fences completely. And I think these two, barring this over so far, or barring this next ball, they look to just knock it around and just get a feel for what the conditions are like. Obviously, Delano's had a few more balls to face here than Evan Jones, and definitely go full hammer and tong in the last 3 overs. As Mpongwana steps up, slow ball, and it's hit straight up. And it is caught by square leg. Great catch by Carl Simmons, but most notably, it was a no ball and a free hit, so that means that the batsman cannot be out other than run out.
And I think obstructing the field.
Oh, and obstructing the field too, yeah, that's
things
right.
like that as well, which are very rare indeed. So missing out a bit there, Delano Potgieter.
Yeah, sort of bluffed him there, put the offside field back and went straight and sort of with a slow ball at the stumps. Brings Jones back onto strike as Mpongwana runs in. Back of a length into Jones's hip and tucked to deep square. Only a first single. Great piece of fielding there by Valentine Kitme in the deep. So yeah, 1 ball left in this over. Again, barring these 2 no balls that Mpongwana bowled, it's actually been a really good over so far. They've clawed their way. Well, I wouldn't say claw their way, they've fought back nicely after dismissing Van der Dissen and Mokwetu, and have been really, really disciplined, giving no one coming in really much to work with. All the batters having to make some sort of play themselves. Mpongwana charges in, and Delano Potgieter gets on one knee and tries to sweep this over square leg. Swing and a miss, and goes to the keeper. And that brings to a close the 16th over. The Lions are 116 for 5.
So 4 overs left, and still lots of options for World Sports Betting Western Province captain Viren Hendricks in terms of bowlers. Mpongwana's still got 1 left. He's had a very good evening so far. Viren Hendricks himself has got 2 left. I'm sure he'll probably back himself to bowl 2 of the last 4 overs.
Yeah, as you mentioned that, he's given himself the ball and he's mocking his run-up as we speak.
And then perhaps Wesley Bedger to bowl 1 over as well. Unless Hendricks is very brave and brings back a spinner to bowl 1 over.
Yeah, that would be quite a brave call.
Nabe, I suppose.
Yeah, Nabe could do it, yeah. So, into the attack is Viren Hendricks as he runs into Evan Jones. Goes full and wide, and just got it in the wide line there, straight through to the keeper. Interesting ploy there with the third man being up. Got a short third man, and a deep backward point and a deep cover on the offside with a long off and an extra cover in the ring. So by the looks of things, Hendricks going to go one of two ways, either full and wide and maybe a couple of slow balls too.
Third man going back now, so it was a classic bluff, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was. And into the wicket comes a wicket. Or into the ring comes a wicket. Jones goes across the line, and it is squared out to the deep, where the deep backward point has done the fielding. Is that Valentine Kitme? Yeah, that is right. Valentine Kitme has done the fielding in the deep there and has only managed to get through for one there, the Lions pair.
It was in the air for quite a long time. I wonder if the fielders maybe lost it off the bat.
Yeah, definitely could be the case. It's, again, we alluded to it earlier how big the offside boundary was for Jones there, so sometimes it might take you a second or two just to sort of pick up the trajectory of the ball. As in comes Hendricks to Potgieter. Oh, and that is beautifully guided past short third man. Great bit of hands there by Delano Potgieter. Bjorn Hendricks going slightly back of a length outside off stump, and as you viewers will see now, Delano Potgieter guided it nicely past short third man for a boundary.
He's a very accomplished batsman, as Delano Potgieter. He had an epic 4-day final.
Oh yes, he did.
You were of course the captain.
Yeah,
the Lions winning that final against
Western Province.
WSB Western Province.
Great game of cricket that was. Great advert for the Red Ball campaign. And in comes Hendricks. He goes full and straight, and that is gone down the leg side. As Philip Foster signals a wide ball, so you have to re-bowl that one.
It shows you how one boundary can get the bowler to try and do something different. Maybe draw the mistake.
Yes, sort of forced to bowl as straight as possible with this field. I mean, he's got only one guy out on the offside, that is the cover sweeper. So you've got a short third man, a backward point, an extra cover in the middle. So trying to force Delano Potgieter to head into the leg side here. As he comes in, goes full, goes quite straight. No run as Wesley Badger does the fielding at mid-off. And most importantly, a dot ball. They have been absolute gold for the World Sports Betting Western Province, sort of putting pressure, or adding a lot more pressure onto the Lions batters, each and every one of them that have been at the crease so far this evening.
Well, you did say, Dom, that you felt they would wait until 3 overs to go until really cutting loose, and there seems to be no panic yet with these two batters. They're not desperately swinging for the rafters.
And as you see there, Bjorn Hendricks with a well-executed Yorker, no run straight back to him. Yeah, just going back to your point over there, if I could hit the ball as far as these two could, I would definitely think the same. So, yeah, just with the levers that these two have and the boundary hitting capability that they do have, I don't think there's any panic in their mind. As soon as the Western Province bowlers get it wrong, they will back themselves to clear these boundaries. And Buren bowls another one that is full and on off stump, and Delano Potgieter nurdles it into the offside for a single and brings to a close the 17th over. The DP World Lions 123 for the loss of 5 wickets.
So let's say 30 minimum of the last 3 overs. I'd imagine that's what they'd want. That takes them to 153. Things go a bit better. They could get up to that 160 mark, which I think will be competitive based on what we've seen in the cities. Obviously the Lions will have to bowl as well as Western Province have. Brendan Mapaka back in the Lions lineup tonight. I'm sure everyone's...
As well as Cody Yusuf. And watching the last couple of games under lights, Brendan Mapaka's got the ball to swing quite nicely. So I've got no doubt he's going to be a bit of a handful. As we see Wesley Badger back into the attack here. He's coming around the wicket to Delano Potgieter. Again, very similar field. Short third man, extra cover in the ring, 45 on the leg side and a square leg in the ring. So full and wide he goes, and a well executed Yorker for no run straight through to the keeper.
Yeah, excellent start by Badger. See the intent from Delano Potgieter. big swing of the bat.
I'm always thinking here, as a putting my batting hat on here, with this sort of field being set and they sort of saying that they're going to go full and wide, I'd think, being Delano Potgieter, that I'd want to get outside off stump and try and suck the bowler into trying to bowl a little bit straighter and trying to exploit this shorter leg side. As he bowls a wide slow ball that's hit into the deep, and again Valentine Katime does the tidying up there, only for a single.
There are times, I guess, where you can get sort of over-seduced by the short boundary. And I don't know what you think, but I just felt in the sort of middle of the Lions innings, especially when Nabe was bowling, they were trying almost too much to jag him across to the short boundary on the leg side, when perhaps hitting over extra cover would have been an option.
Yeah, good point you mentioned there. As Beja comes in, he goes with a slow ball and somehow it's just gone over off stump. Jones giving himself a bit of room to try and clear extra cover, as you spoke about there, but this time to the shorter boundary. Lucky to not get bowled on that occasion.
There was extra bounce, wasn't there? It's a tennis ball bounce over the stumps.
Oh yeah, a lot of bounce over there. And on the one bounce to the keeper too, so. In comes Beja to Jones again. He goes full, he goes straight, tucked into the leg side. And Delano Potgieter turns around for 2. Valentine Katime doing some work to his left at deep mid-wicket or deep cow corner, I would say. Couldn't stop the 2. Good bit of batting there. Again, like you spoke about, there's a lot of real estate on the leg side, so if you can find that gap, there's quite a big gap. I would say it's a good 50 or 60 meters between deep square leg and sort of deep mid-wicket or cow corner. And the same thing from cow corner to long on. So if you can find that gap, you can always get 2 into that leg side. Beja goes straight again. Jones frees up his arms but makes no contact, and Smith does it. Smith does the tidying up behind the stumps.
I fancy the likes of Cody Yusuf and Brandon Mapaka will be watching this innings and licking their lips, I think, because as seam bowlers, there seems to be quite a bit of assistance out there. And Cody Yusuf, he's quite a skinny bowler, isn't he? He'll enjoy this 2-pace pitch.
Yeah, the same with. Let's hit back straight to Beja. He's managed to parry it, and Bjorn Hendricks does the tidying up at long off. And that brings to a close the 18th over. The DP World Lions are 127 for 5 at the end of 18. So 12 balls left. And Beja's figures going for 33 runs in his 4 overs, taking 1 wicket. But again, Ken, looking at these bowling figures, sort of all of the bowlers in around the 6-7 runs and over mark just showed you how well they've bowled this evening so far.
Yeah, Beja's come back really well because his first 2 overs went for 23, and that was an excellent over. Just delivered excellent 18th over, and Bjorn Hendricks is going to bowl out now. But Lions now will be happy with 150, I guess.
Yeah, 1 or 2 boundaries changes the context of this innings. As Hendricks runs in, he goes full, he goes wide again. It is crunched to long off where Carl Simmons does the tidying up, only for a single.
Yeah, hit very hard, but straight to the fielder. Field well set by Bjorn Hendricks and bowled the right ball as well.
Yeah, the length's been really good. Been very, very full. Nothing for Jones or Potgieter to get under.
It's one of Bjorn's strengths, isn't it? He's probably one of the better Yorker bowlers in the country.
As he runs in and bowls another attempted Yorker, sort of a low full toss. Oh, and Valentine Katime does a bit of misfielding in the outfield, and the DB World Lions managed to sneak through for an extra run.
Good alertness by Delano Potgieter there, spotting the little fumble, and he was on his way back to the second straight away.
I'd say the most noticeable this evening by the World Sports Betting Western Province as Buren runs into bowl here. He goes short ball. Oh, when it's too high, signal that square leg as a wide and one for the over. So there goes his short ball for the over with only 2 balls bowled. I feel like Delano thinks he might have missed out there with everybody being up behind square on the offside. As I was saying, the most noticeable thing from Western Province this evening has actually been how simple they've kept things. They haven't tried to be too overly fancy. All their seamers have sort of run in, tried to hit the deck quite hard and sort of let the wicket do the work for them. So noticeably early on, as they missed full, they were dispatched to the boundary. Hendricks runs in again and misses down the leg side, but looks like Porky to get a bit of, was it pad or fight pad on that?
Yeah, just saw umpire possibly tapping his thigh. Tom, just your point on how simple Western Province has kept it dead right. I mean, look at Tiwakaya Nabe, 2 for 24 and 3 overs, and you could not have had a much more simple approach than he had. Just keeping it outside off stump, bowling a good length, and being very disciplined with that.
Oh, and that is crunched by Delano Potgieter. He's given himself a bit of room, and he's hit that crisply through the gap at extra cover for 4.
Oh, that's an awesome stroke by Delano Potgieter. We mentioned the ability he's got with the bat. Look how far outside leg stump he's standing there as he wallops that to extra cover.
And Hendricks actually just put up his hand there to say, sorry guys, that wasn't my best ball I've bowled. As he runs in again to Potgieter. Gives himself a bit of room, and oh, unfortunately he's hit it straight to extra cover. And he's caught, is that by Yumi at extra cover? Yes, it is. So it brings to an end Delano Potgieter's innings. 16 runs off 19 balls. And the Lions are currently 135 for 6 after 18.5 overs. So 7 balls to go. Now Delano walking off very slow here. Not very happy with himself. Feels like he's possibly missed out there with that full toss.
Yeah, always disappointing when you get out to a full toss, but it can be quite an effective ball. It wasn't a bad height, I guess, from Buren Hendricks, and he kind of followed Delano Potgieter. It was all a bit cramped, wasn't it?
Yeah, he sort of followed him, cramped him up. Again, as you mentioned earlier, trying to go over the shorter offside boundary, but I'm pretty sure if he had, in his mind, tried to hit that over the leg side, he would have cleared that leg side boundary quite easily. Into the wicket comes the captain, Bjorn Fortuin, playing in his 145th game, as he takes God now to Buren Hendricks.
He can certainly strike it, can Bjorn Fortuin. I always remember that incredible innings he played at Supersport Park a couple of seasons back.
Oh, in the One Day Cup final.
The One Day Cup final.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, Reza Hendricks made a big 100, but it was Bjorn Fortuin who got the Lions over the line that night.
As Fortuin steps across to outside off stump, again Hendricks bowls a wide Yorker and squeezes it to deep backward point for a single, and it brings to a close the 19th over. The Lions 136 for the loss of 6 wickets. 1 over to go, 6 balls left. And a great spell from the captain Buren Hendricks there. He's 4 overs going for 27 runs and 1 wicket in his spell. Great bit of bowling by him.
Very classy by the Western Province captain, showing all his experience, all his control, and he's always been a skillful bowler as well, hasn't he?
So the last over has been entrusted to Mihlali Mpongwana.
Big tall guy, I imagine he'll be trying to hit the deck, using his variations. As Dom Hendricks has said, this pitch is quite two-paced. Some balls have skidded through, others there's been a bit of tennis ball bounce.
So currently we've got 5 guys in the ring. We've got a mid-off, an extra cover, a backward point and a short third man. George Linder frantically signalling to the captain to push another guy back, but they're opting for the extra man in the ring to the new man 14. An interesting choice to not go for your 5 men out here in the last over. I feel like they want to try and squeeze maybe one more dot ball out of Bjorn 14. As Mpongwana runs up and bowls in off cutter outside of stump. 14 sort of gave himself a bit of room and swings and misses.
That was close to off stump. It's a dot ball, but it very nearly was a wicket as well.
14 charged that in. Looks like it just missed off stump by a lick of paint. So find himself very lucky to still be here.
Mid-off was up, and I think 14 was looking over mid-off there. Oh
my word. That is possibly one of the most unlucky ways that you could ever get out as a batter. 14's absolutely crunched it straight back at the bowler. He's got a... was it a hand or a boot? I didn't quite see. And Jones is left out of his crease and has been run out at the non-strikers end.
Desperately unlucky.
Yeah. The worst way to go out, I would say.
Yeah.
As we look at it again over here. Oh, he's got a thumb on it by the looks of it.
Yeah.
And that ball's actually got to the boundary for 4, funny enough, but with the dismissal being completed first, the runs don't count. So that brings to the crease, by the looks of it, Ngaba Peter. Oh no, that's Cody Yusuf, my apologies.
And a dangerous batsman has been removed in this last over. Evan Jones would have fancied hitting a couple of boundaries just to give a late boost to this Lions innings.
Yeah, 2 dot balls to start this 20th over so far. As in runs Mpongwana to 14. He goes short and he cuts this one over, extra cover, 1 bounce for 4. The man in the deep running across, but could do nothing about it but retrieve it from the boundary. A change of tactic here from Mpongwana. Gone slightly shorter on this occasion, but got his line slightly wrong. And 14 helped himself free his arms nicely there and into the boundary, or onto the boundary, and went for 4.
It's an excellent shot though by Bjorn 14, I'd say. It wasn't that wide.
3 balls to go. Mpongwana runs into bowl. And he goes slow ball into the wicket, nice and short. And Cody Yusuf turns for 2, and they complete 2 runs beautifully over there.
Cody Yusuf rather doing his job, which is getting Bjorn 14 back for the second.
Interesting stroke there by 14, running at him, and Mpongwana noticed that, threw it in a little bit shorter, and it almost looked like a double-handed backhand from 14 over there.
Well, I know you guys all love your golf, but does Bjorn play a lot of tennis?
Actually paddle.
Paddle, there we go.
Paddle's taken over the world, so a lot of our boys love the game of paddle at the moment. As in runs Mpongwana to 14. Another slow ball, and he's heaved that high, and in runs long on, but there's nothing he can do about it as it doesn't carry to him. They scamper through for 2. Takes the total to 144 with 1 delivery to go.
Yeah, of course the Lions have a bowler of similar height to Mpongwana and Evan Jones. Looks like he could be quite effective on this pitch as well, bowling like this, digging it in, changing your pace.
Yeah, most definitely. I think he's, obviously after his innings that he's just had now, he's looking forward to getting the ball in his hands. If I know Jones, if I know exactly how he thinks. As Mpongwana runs into bowl the last one. Goes slow ball, goes full and straight, and nothing 14 could do but dig it out for a single to 45 to the leg side. And that brings to a close the Lions, the DP World Lions 20 overs. They got a 145 for the loss of 7 wickets. Again, some very, very good bowling from the World Sports Betting Western Province. Some great skills shown by them. And I'd say some really good discipline shown by them. I think, looking at the figures over here, yeah, the only guy to go, or 2 guys to go at 8 runs and over were Bedra and Nabe, but everybody else going under that. So some very, very impressive bowling. As we look at the batting card over here, McQuaid at the top of the order with 41 of 25 balls. He looked really, really good. Played some really, really handsome cricket shots early up. And ever trusty as always, Mr. Asif in addition with 43 of 33. But yeah, not much to speak of from the guys coming in down the order, which just speaks to how well the Western Province bowled. And by the looks of it, our trick it was to come in and bat on this wicket. So again, we spoke about how slow and how two-paced it sort of looked as this ball sort of got older. So it'll be interesting to see how Western Province come and approach it.
Yeah, the bowling figures for Western Province, and just to second what Dom Hendricks has said, a wonderful effort by them with the ball. Buren Hendricks brought his class and experience, but Shlani Pongwana was very good, including bowling at the death. And George Linder, 3 good overs of spin. Kyle Simmons, 2 overs for 14. And even Wesley Bedja and Tiwekaya Nabe, they went for 8 and over, but they did a good job in the middle as well, picking up 3 wickets between them. So Western Province will have 146 to chase. If they win this match, it will keep them alive for a place in the playoffs. So they've got a lot to gain by putting together a good chance. But I think the Lions attack will look at what's going on in this first innings and think they're also in with a good chance if they bowl well. So it's going to be a thrilling second half of the CSA T20 Challenge match from the DP World Wanderers. Do join us in about 15 minutes.
And welcome back to the DP World Wanderers Stadium, where the DP World Lions are taking on the World Sports Betting Western Province. The Lions earlier won the toss and elected to bat first. They finished on 145 for 7 in their 20 overs. Looked quite a tricky surface to bat on. A little bit too paced as the sort of wicket went on, or as the innings went on. Some key performances from the Lions were Rassie van der Dussen with 43 of 33 deliveries, and Wandi Mokwetu 41 of 25. And yeah, some really good bowling from all the World Sports Betting Western Province bowlers. They were quite economical with the ball. Most noticeably, Bjorn Hendricks 1 for 27 in his 4 overs. Alongside me is David. Yeah, welcome David, welcome back, and yeah, wanted to get your thoughts before the second innings started.
Yeah, it was key that you got off to a good start while the ball was hard. Once it softened up a little bit, that's when the troubles began for the DP World Lions. And hoping to trouble the Western Province batters, it's Cody Youssef.
And in comes Cody Youssef. Looks like there's a little bit of swing on offer there, as that first ball into John O'Bird's pads. At the wicket we have John O'Bird, and is that Smith by the looks of things, Daniel Smith, that's opening the batting with him. So yeah, interesting enough, the lights are more in effect now once the sun's sort of gone down, so maybe a bit more swing for the DP World Lions. The 2 men on the fence for the Lions are a third man and a deep square leg, as Cody Youssef runs in to John O'Bird. And he's flicked it straight to 45, where Delano Potgieter completes the catch and brings to an end John O'Bird's innings, only facing 2 balls and not troubling the scorers.
Well, I mentioned that Cody Youssef wanted to trouble the Western Province batters, and he's done exactly that. It's a goose egg for John O'Bird. He'll be disappointed with himself. And the genius of the man, Bjorn Fortuin, knew exactly where he needed that fielder. Just try to tickle this away on the onside. And a lovely catch, as you mentioned, by Delano Potgieter. The Lions are on the road. It's 0 for 1.
And coming to the crease in his 21st game is Valentine Katime. A great opportunity for him to get some runs on the board here for Western Province. Obviously straight away under pressure here in this power play. Losing a wicket without troubling the scorers so far. And yeah, Cody Youssef got a slip in place here for the right-hander. So let's see if he can get any sort of movement out this wicket, much like Western Province did in their first innings.
Yeah, stark contrast for Bird in this game. Gone for a duck. He was 53 from 38 in the last game, 2 4s and 3 6s, but Cody Youssef had his number there. And a roaring start here for the DP World Lions. As you said, Valentine Katime really has all the time in the world here. There's no rush for him to get underway.
Captain Fortuin going with a very aggressive approach here, bringing in a second slip, no mid-wicket in place, as Cody Youssef runs up to bowl to Katime. And a nice away swinger, and a bit of a swing and miss from Katime. Bit of width on offer there, so would find himself a little bit unlucky that he didn't get any bat on that. But yeah, looking by his body language over here, looks a little bit tentative, I would say.
Cody Youssef with his tail up here. 2 slips in play in a T20 game. It's not often that you do see that, and it's good to see that when the Lions are on top, that they are not afraid to put their foot on the opposition's throat.
Ooh, and a beautiful away swinger from Cody Youssef there, as Katime tries to heave this one over long on, or over mid on.
Men from Joburg might be dressed like bananas, but they're also bowling bananas here. It's a lovely delivery. Cody Youssef can be terrifying when he is on a roll. Mokwetu taking that at the right ankle shows how much it swung.
Again, a lot more swing on offer in this innings so far than it did in that first innings for Western Province. When the sun does go down, it does tend to swing a little bit more, these white balls do. as Cody Yusuf runs in. He's a little bit straight on this occasion. Katime tucks it into the leg side. And Bjorn Fortuin does the tidying up at a wide mid-wicket and brings on to strike Daniel Smith for the first time.
Yeah, first runs of the day for the WSB Western Province side. What do you think the conversation in the change room will be for the Western Province side, Dom? Panic just yet, or maybe just an early breakthrough is fortuitous for the Lions?
Yeah, I wouldn't say panic just yet. Obviously a very good start from the Lions here so far. Cody Yusuf got his tail up here and been on the money straight away. So I think they would just be thinking someone needs to get in here and get some sort of partnership going. As Cody runs in, and this one is defended into the offside, slightly back of a length for no run, and that brings to a close the first over. World Sports Betting Western Province are 1 for 1 after 1 over.
Yeah, the Nelson striking here for the DP World Lions. Quinn Mapaka, he's going to be bowling from the golf course end. Youngster taking a bit of a break from his studies midweek. And chatting to his brother before the game, he mentioned that he's go into lockdown, so to speak, with his exams, and Dom is just going to have to do without him for the first little bit of the 4-day competition. But the riches in the cabinet here at the DP World Wonders in terms of talent is almost never ending.
And Mapaka starts off with a wide, short, slightly wide, and signaled by umpire Philip Crossley there as the keeper does the tidying up.
I've undone him there, Dom. I've undone him there. Hyped him up, and then he chucks a wide.
Started off with a proper loosener. Let's hope that he can get that engine going and sort of find a good length to hit over here to the Western Province batters. As he runs in to Katime. And slightly fuller, punched up the ground. Oh, and there was a run-out opportunities. Looks like Fortuin's hit the batter there as he's trying to shy at the stumps. No run. It looked like there was a little bit of swing on offer for him there. So always interesting when the ball does get swinging for a left armer. Obviously a very different angle for the right-handers to face and the left-hand batters too.
It's not often that you could accuse Quen of floating it up there. He's really somebody who likes to put it up.
And he's nicked off Valentine Katime. Back of the length, going across him. Katime has had a big swing at that one, and Wandile Makwetu completes quite a simple catch, I would say. Nicely chest height, and that brings the end of Katime's innings. 2 for the loss of 2. The Western Province are.
Well, if it's not Nelson, it's Richie Bena on 2-2. Regulation catch through to Wandile Makwetu. A big outside edge there. Mapaka gets his first. And the World Sports Betting Western Province side now having to call in the experienced Eddie Moore. He's done well this year. Leads the runs for Western Province. 147 in this year's competition. That doesn't mean that Rassie van der Dissen's not going to welcome him with his own thoughts.
Yeah, it looks like he's been welcomed with some words to the ears. Words. Yeah, so
words of wisdom, advice.
I wouldn't say words of wisdom. He's trying to get into his head already before he's even faced the ball, before he's even taken guard for that matter. Just shows you the intent of the DP World Lions, that they are here to play this evening with this ball. And noticeably for the left-hander, Mapaka's got a second slip in place. As David mentioned, Eddie Moore big in the run so far in this competition. A great knock at Supersport Park to defeat the Titans. So a lot of responsibility on his shoulders in this innings. As Mapaka runs into bowl to him. And this one just goes down the leg side for a wide.
Youngsters doing things that youngsters do. They follow up an absolute brilliant delivery with the wide. But I think, just having a look at this one again, you can understand why Proteas men's white ball coach Rob Walter sees his value over the next couple of years. Remember, there's Champions Trophy next year, T20 World Cup the following year, and then we host the 50 over World Cup here in South Africa.
Mapaka Timur, and he follows up again with another one down the leg side. So I don't think he's going to be too happy with himself, giving away obviously number one these extras, but giving Eddie Moore a couple of sighters over here, a couple of free looks at a couple of balls. Looks like the umpires are going to have to step in over here with these words that are going on between Van der Dussen and Eddie Moore. Obviously Rassie getting into his ear there. For the sake of this battle, I hope that Mapaka can find a good area here, and then he runs, and Moore tries to turn it to the leg side. He edges it down to third man, and they scamper through for two.
Lovely bit of fielding there. It was an almost certain boundary. Put his body on the line there. As you mentioned, this battle is far from done. They're offering some thoughts to one another. Why don't you hit the ball? Well, I can't hit it if he's bowling wides to me, and sharing the love in the game of cricket.
Yeah, it looks like the captain's been bowling here, Bjorn Fortuin. Philip Foster's sort of had to have a couple of words to Fortuin. But again, a great piece of work in the deep there, but Rolando Potgieter putting his body on the line. As Mapaka runs in again to Moore. Oh, and he's nicked this one, and it's just fallen short of. Is that Reza Hendricks at second slip? Moore looking to work that one through the leg side, taking the outside edge.
Yeah, Fortuin and Rassie van der Dussen not short of some poetic limericks. Eddie Moore says, keep talking, fella, keep talking. It's lovely to see two teams going at each other. This is brilliant competition.
Mapaka spears in a Yorker. Moore's managed to keep it out and tuck it to deep square leg for a single. Again, the Lions are quite loud in the field. The energies are up, and it seems everybody's tails up. So I think Eddie Moore knows he's got a battle on his hands here against 11 on the field.
It can be very isolating when you're out there in the middle. Feel like the world's on your shoulder, and Peter Malani alluded to it when he got his national cap a couple of years ago, how difficult it is.
And Mapaka bowls this one slightly short and slightly wide, and Daniel Smith cuts this past the diving Rassie van der Dussen for four. It brings to a close the second over. The World Sports Betting Western Province are 11 for the loss of 2 wickets.
First boundary of the evening. Young Mapaka, he was a little bit wayward in that over. 3 wides and then this way to get out the over. He'll be disappointed with that. But Daniel Smith pouncing on that. And that means they get a boundary to close things up. Cody Yusuf will maintain his attack from the call-it drive in. Dispensing with the second slip are the Lions.
Yeah, most noticeably too, a bit of change of angle to Eddie Moore here, coming around the wicket. But again, just listening to the Lions plays in the field, they are really, really up for this.
I don't know if it's the crowd or the players that are louder.
As in comes Cody Yusuf to Moore. Tucked into the pads and just flicked to mid-wicket where Ngaba Peter does the fielding for no run.
Such a crucial wicket for the DP World Lions to try and pick up. Eddie Moore can be very dangerous if he gets going, and as you mentioned, that crucial knock at Supersport Park, turning the tide for the WSB Western Province side, so the Lions honing in.
Oh, and a short ball by Cody Yusuf. A bit of a step away sort of pull from Eddie Moore, and he managed to get back on it, and it goes over fine leg for a 1 bounce 4.
Yeah, just rode that one, did Eddie Moore. Didn't look comfortable at it. facing up to that one at all. Bit of a swat, rather. He gets a 4 for his troubles, so 15 for 2 now. Moore on 7, Smith on 4. And already 2 wickets falling for the WSB Western Province side. Bird was gone for a duck, and then Katime followed soon after with a single.
As Yusuf comes in again to Moore, tucks him up, and he just defends this just off the wicket for no run. Cody looks like he's bowling quite quickly this evening. A little bit of swing on offer, and again rushing the batter over here, or rushing the batters, I would say, over here.
Eddie Moore looks like he's got his dancing shoes on this evening. He's moving around his crease quite a bit, feeling the heat from the fielding side.
Yusuf runs in. He's dropped this one slightly short, and Moore's hooked him over deep square legs head for a 6, and it brings up the first maximum of the innings for Western Province.
They say pressure's a privilege, and what a way to answer any pressure you may be feeling. Bit of a short-arm jab away. Fans in the crowd at risk if they don't keep their eyes peeled, but you are at risk of getting 50,000 Rand if you take a clean one-handed catch here at the DP World Wanderers. So it could make your final quarter of the year that much sweeter. Good attendance this evening at the DP World Wanderers.
Yeah, very good attendance for Wednesday night, I would say. Good crowd in here. As Yusuf runs in again to Moore. It's gone back of a length, and Moore's punched this to cover for no run.
10 from the over, but you wouldn't suspect that it was an over dominated by Eddie Moore.
Yeah, Yusuf has run in well here this over so far. Moral victory on the first short ball, yeah, Eddie Moore looks really up for this. He looks really G'd up. He's the type of guy that when there are a couple of words being shared, he revs himself up, and it sort of brings the best out of him. As Yusuf runs in again, and he's tried to pull this one. Oh no, and it's been dropped. Is that Evan Jones?
Yeah, Evan Jones has got the most number of catches in this year's competition, 6 to his name, and he was trying to get that lucky number 7. And as you can see, got a bit of blood there for his troubles, diving on the adjacent strips. So he's going to need a bit of attention there from the medic. Again, Cody Yusuf storming in, rushing Eddie Moore. Great minds thinking alike here in the comment box. Just wasn't there.
Looks to me like Jones struggled a little bit with his footing there, but also didn't look like he picked it up immediately out of the night sky. So a bit slow to get out the blocks there, unfortunately, for the Lions, as that would have been a vital wicket indeed. Western Province 22 for the loss of 2 after 3, as Mapaka been given the responsibility to bowl the 4th as he comes into Moore. And that is wide down the leg side for 4 wides. Very naughty by the young man over here, gifting Western Province 5 free ones, and he's got to re-bowl that one.
Insult to literal injury here for the Lions players. He started so well, it was 2 for 2, and things slightly getting away. Yes, they may feel like they're on top of these 2 batters, but when you're giving away wides, as Mapaka has done, 3 in the last one, and now he gives 5 to start the over, it can just free the shackles for a side that feels like they don't necessarily have the answers just yet.
Yeah, quite interesting to note is that he'd actually bowled from the corner drive in all of his other games that he's played for the Lions so far. So maybe just struggling with this end a little bit, not quite the same as bowling from the corner drive in. You know, bowlers, they do from time to time prefer an in, so might be his first taste of bowling from this side, and just maybe struggling a little bit with the sort of angles that this side has to offer. As he runs into Moore again, Oh, and he's punched this beautifully through the covers. Hasn't got the legs to go to the boundary. Great piece of work in the deep there by Zubair Hamza as he tidies up. He's obviously on for Evan Jones as he gets some treatment for that elbow of his.
Well, earning a bit of a match fee here is Zubair Hamza, putting his body on the line. Great bit of fielding, and as you said, an equally good shot to get it through the covers. Interestingly enough, Dom, it was this end that Quinema Parker bowled that super over for this fixture earlier this year. So no foreigner to it, but as you mentioned, guys feel that rhythm from one end and want to really extract the most.
And he goes in with a shorter ball on this occasion. Slightly down the leg side as Moore lets it go. He'll have to re-bowl that one again.
Would you make an argument for coming around the wicket, try and go across the left-handed Moore, let him flash it one or two, give him that space at short third man because you have the protection there?
I think it just brings out, or it sort of takes out his biggest threat, which has been in the away swinger on the fuller side. So not a bad option, but we'll have to do away with the slip. As Moore gives himself a bit of room here, and he heaves this one past mid-off. Fortuin does the tidying up as they only come through for two. Great piece of work there by Fortuin and Hamza.
Always thought that players enjoy sliding around. He could have just, picked it up, but deciding to go with the side. It's always enjoyable when you're able to do that in the facilities here at the DP World Wanderers.
Well, knowing Bjorn, he probably didn't want to throw that one. He does struggle a bit with his right shoulder, so giving the throw responsibilities on to Zubair Hamza. So Captain Fortuin having a bit of a chat with Mapaka. As Mapaka runs into Moore again. He gives himself some room, and he's punched this through past backward point for four. Great piece of batting. Created some width and timed it nicely past Van der Dussen and Van Buren at point and cover.
36 for 2 now, and doing exactly what was required. He just opened the space between him and his stumps and guiding it away square of point. Lovely stroke.
On this occasion, he shuffles over to off stump does Moore, and Mapaka spears in a Yorker and he keeps it out for no run. Well bowled.
Troubled many batters has that Yorker. Many broken toes. I remember as well, Kagiso Rabada as a youngster also was notorious for breaking toes. You've got to be very careful when he's fired up. Quinema Parker recently at a primary schools tournament mentioning that he broke a helmet at age 11, so does like giving the batters a hard time.
Moore gives himself a bit of room again. Goes for a pull shot and swings and misses as Mkwetu takes that one comfortably. And that brings to a close the fourth over. World Sports Betting Western Province of 36 for the loss of 2 wickets.
It was a very long over, that one. Quinema Parker making sure he gets every opportunity to trouble the batters. Some of the fans in the stands enjoying their time at the DP World Wanderers. It's a great place to spend time watching the cricket. Any format really. And with the upcoming 4-day competition, you will be able to get in for free and enjoy world-class cricket. Speaking of world-class, it's Evan Jones. And he will begin the 5th over. The 13th Pink One-Day International will see Proteas men taking on Pakistan on Sunday, 22nd December for a 2 p.m. start at the DP World Wanderers. Get your tickets at cricket.co.za.
As Jones runs into Daniel Smith, and he's just defended that into the leg side for no run. Yeah, so straight from coming from the physio's room does Jones, and straight into the attack to bowl the 5th over.
Brandishing a bandage. Those roasties are awful because the gravel gets stuck in the wound. And
oh,
he hit the stumps. Good bit of fielding there.
Attempt there, yeah. Great piece of work in the deep there by Van der Dussen. Was well aware to the throw to stop the ball from going for additional or more than the 2 extra runs that they picked up.
Something that was, I think, lacking a little bit from the national side in the recent tour against Ireland, hitting the stumps, and good to see that the Lions working on it, making sure, because even in that instance where there wasn't really a risk of run out, it just sends a message to the opposition.
As Jones comes into Smith, full on leg stump, and Smith punches it up the ground for no run. Yeah, I don't know if you saw the match, was it last week Wednesday, the Lions taking on the Knights, and they were actually phenomenal in the field. There's some unbelievable catches from almost everybody in the team. Quite a fielding display, and speaking to some of the players of the staff, they've said that was some of the best fielding that they've seen from this team so far in their time here. As this one is punched up the ground from Smith. Oh wow, what a great piece of timing. And Fortuin can do nothing but escort the ball to the boundary. What a great shot. By no means a half volley. And Smith just showed the maker's name there and punched it up the ground beautifully for 4.
Lovely stroke. Lovely stroke. Excellently timed and racing away to that boundary. Much needed for Daniel Smith. He's been starved a little bit of the strike and now making the most of it. Just contributing 10 runs to this partnership of 40. So with 104 to win, this partnership's going to be vital for Western Province.
And this one's slightly shorter, and Smith punches this pass, cover point. Fielders are chasing, but it goes to the boundary for 4. Another great piece of cricket. Obviously Jones overcorrecting there and going slightly too short and slightly too wide. And Daniel Smith finding the gap beautifully there for 4.
Back-to-back boundaries, and a little bit of a freebie there, as you mentioned, from Evan Jones. Just opening the shoulders a little bit. Glided away down to that deep backward point region.
With that, a change in the field. Third man comes up and backward point goes back on the boundary. And he actually missed it the ball before, but slip actually came out and went into extra cover. So the covers are reinforced. Deep point on the boundary for that kind of stroke as Jones runs in. It's on the legs and it's flicked past 45 for another boundary. Great piece of timing there from Daniel Smith to bring up the 50 for Western Province. 50 for the loss of 2 after 5 overs.
These two have turned the fortunes of this Western Province batting innings. From 2 for 2, they've really put the hard yards in to make sure that they can get to that target. Just an idea of where the end of the over leaves them. 50 for 2, where the Lions were 34 for 1. So Western Province on top at the moment. The Lions have got to get wickets here if they want to pull this game back. The partnership putting pressure on the DP World Lions, and that pressure means that Delano Potgieter will get his opportunity to bowl 30 wickets in this format of the game. So he'll want to make sure he puts the best foot forward.
Potgieter comes in on a good length and defender into the offside where they scamper through for a single. Again, just like you spoke about earlier, no panic by these two. Just played some really good cricket shots and transferred some good pressure back onto the Lions bowlers. This partnership now 49 runs. And yeah, Province looking really, really good here. They require another 95 of 89 deliveries. So well up with the rate here, going at just under 10s. So only requiring 6.4 to go in from here on in. As Potgieter comes into Smith. Oh, and he's chopped it on. Slightly wide, bottom edge. And he's taken out middle stump as Potgieter. And that brings to an end Daniel Smith's innings. 18 of 9 deliveries. And most importantly, a wicket just before the end of the power play to stem the flow of runs as you spoke about.
Yeah, the Western Province players are going to come have a chat with you, Dom. You mentioned it was 49 runs on the partnership and you've completely undone their chance of a half-century partnership. Potgieter wide on the crease, angling it in. just cutting it down into his own stump. Smith will be disappointed. He got off to a good start. And that means that Mihlali Mpongwana will make his way to the crease. Western Province 51 for 3. He doesn't seem happy with his gloves. I hope he
Doesn't get timed out here.
Angelo Matthews type behavior. Mihlali Mpongwana getting 30 from 20 in the last game against the Dolphins. So not needing to score at the same rate in this game, but certainly a vital cog for the Western Province side.
Yeah, two of the experienced batters at the crease, so we would think that these two would have to do the bulk of the work for Western Province to get over the line. As he finally finds the right pair of gloves by the looks of things. Eddie Moore sort of signalling to him that there's a little bit on offer for the bowlers. Again, nothing quite like a wicket to slow the scoring rate down, so we'll see now if that statement rings true this evening. It's looked really difficult to come in, those that have come in sort of the middle order. So from the Lions' point of view, Potgieter would look to try and get out of this over with a couple of dots.
Yeah, I mentioned at the start of this innings how important it was to maximize your time with the hard ball. I wonder if this could be the turning point.
Mpongwana advances down the wicket, just 2 outside off stump, defends this beautifully to short 45 and gets through for single. Off the mark he is.
Just giving you a quick update of what's happened around the country. The Knights setting the Hollywood Bets Dolphins 156 runs for victory, and the Boland side, Gold Rush Boland, 171 for 6 from their 20 overs, and the Warriors are in all sorts of trouble at 54 for 4.
Potgieter goes into Moore on the pads, flick to deep square, and they scamper through for a single. Very, very tidy over from Delano Potgieter so far.
Remember the last time you complimented someone, they were gone the next delivery, so presumably this next one's going to go for 6. Wana's really not happy with his gloves.
It looks to be a spike on this occasion.
It's a spike, or something's come loose. Just lobbing it to umpire Arno Jacobs. You put it in your pocket, mate. I don't want it.
And in comes Potgieter to Mpongwana. It's full, it's straight. And there's a run-out opportunity at the bowler's end. And that is run out. Both batsmen looking at each other at the striker's end. Mpongwana looking up at the umpire, wondering what is going on here. And it looks like Eddie Moore has said to Mpongwana, "You are out of your crease, I'm in, off you go, mate."
Oh no. Oh dear. That was very close to catastrophic. It was catastrophic. A shout for LBW. Good awareness by the Lions to dismiss Mpongwana. He's gone for one. It brings Linda to the wicket. And Western Province, well, how fortuitous for the Lions, because this game I mentioned, is it going to be turned here? And the timing couldn't be worse for the Western Province side.
Yeah, very good shout there from Delano Potgieter. Didn't look like there was much wrong with that shout. It must have been maybe bat, if anything. But a wicket nonetheless for the Lions. A very, very fortunate run-up. But you take them as you can get them in this sort of game.
Arguably schoolboy era from the Western Province side. And I wonder if it's the fact that the Lions are in the head of Eddie Moore. Because again, as Eddie Moore was welcoming George Linder to the wicket, there was another earful from Rassie Panidis. It's the end of Potgieter's first over. Wickets from it. It's the end of the power play. It's 53 for 4.
Yeah, as we look back at that power play, before the start of this over, we were actually talking about it, that Western Province were in the pound seat if you did the comparative head-to-head after 5 overs. And just like that, the Lions are now in the driving seat, losing 2 additional wickets in that last over of the power play. So this game very interestingly poised at the moment. Again, a very experienced head at the crease in George Linder, known to strike a long ball, but also known to be quite skillful with the bat. So a lot of responsibility on these two to get them close if Western Province had a shot at chasing this down. As Jones runs into Linder, back of a length, off the thigh pad by the looks of it, and they scamper through for a single.
At what point do you believe that that kind of conversation between two players becomes too much? At what point does it get out of hand? Because we saw the umpires getting involved there. What do you think is that straw that breaks the camel's back, so to speak?
I would say more than anything it's what's being said, but I doubt the umpires can hear exactly what's going on with the band playing in the crowd at the moment. They've been at it all night, so very difficult to hear, but as long as it doesn't take away or distract the players from actually playing the game. As Jones comes in to Moore and he tucks it into the leg side for a single. Again, like I was saying, yeah, as long as it doesn't sort of
delay the game
more than anything, because obviously none of us can make out, and I doubt anybody other than Van der Dussen and Moore can make out what's exactly has been said. So as long as they get on with the game at the end of the day.
Especially with the playing conditions around, making sure you're keeping on time.
When that's driven beautifully by George Linder through the covers, they're scampering and the fielder gives up on the chase. Great piece of timing by him, driven nicely through the covers to get his first boundary of his innings underway.
Well, fantastic to get off the mark. A bit of a gentle welcome from Evan Jones. Despairing dive there in the covers, and the man out there in the deep wasn't able to cut it off. So what a way to start. This is always a game that you really feel like both sides are going to give their all and they're going to leave everything out there on the park.
As Jones comes in, driven again up the ground. No run this occasion, as Linder couldn't find the gap. Interesting to note that Western Province only requires 6.5 runs and over, but that being said, the most noticeable thing is that they are 4 wickets down. So again, these two are going to have to do the bulk of the work for them.
They are exactly on DLS pass, so meeting the requirements, checking all the boxes. As you said, those wickets will be some concern for Province.
Ooh. And everybody but the bowler's gone up for an appeal over here. Linder's sort of gone forward, defended that one.
Connor Esterhuizen seems absolutely certain that had it taken something through to Umakwetu. Gotta watch out for those wicket keepers. They'll go up for anything sometimes. Looks like maybe a bit of a hopeful shot more than anything else. Wicket keepers and spinners.
A slow ball on this occasion by Jones on the fuller side. Prodded to backward point for no run. And that brings to a close the 7th over. Western Province are 59 for 4. And that brings the close my stint, or comes to an end my stint. And in comes Ken Borland. I will see you in a while.
The Proteas men will take on Sri Lanka for a 2-test match series and a full Pakistan tour this summer, with your favorite Pink Day taking place on Sunday the 22nd of December right here at the DP World Wanderers. Get your tickets at cricket.co.za. Wazana, where be part of it. Right, the skipper's decided he'll turn his arm over as our skipper Ken Borland takes his seat next to us. How quickly this game has changed, Ken, during the Lions innings and now during Western Province. Just 2 wickets making all the difference.
Yeah, I think we saw in the Lions innings that probably the best time for batting is up front in the power play when the ball is still hard, although obviously it does move around quite a bit then as well. But scoring became really difficult as the ball got softer.
Worked away nicely onto the onside. Fortuin having to do the fielding off of his own bowling. But they only get the 1. 60 for 4. And Ken, Province did really well to fight back after being rocked early by those 2 wickets.
Yeah, Eddie Moore, obviously the key man for them now. He's played some good innings for Western Province this season already. You see there he's on 26 of 20 balls. Surprised a bit to see him in the middle order. He kind of made his name at the top. But, you know, he's their most experienced batter in their top order. He's got to start. It's all on him now.
A bit of a fan catch there as that one's hit into the surface, straight back at Bjorn Fortuin. You would have heard the crowd erupting.
We saw a left arm spin prove pretty useful for Western Province when the Lions were batting.
A little bit of a wayward line there from Fortuin, but he gets away with it as they get through for 1.
Kyle Simmons bowled 2 overs for 14 runs, which is tidy enough, and George Linder did a very good job as well. 3 overs, 1 for 16. Of course, to the left-hander, Fortuin with the long leg side boundary for protection.
And that's, I think, an important aspect, Ken, is who you are bowling to. You know, bowling to left-handers on both sides, bowling to right-handers really impacts your line of attack, and more so when there's a longer boundary on one end. Just hoiks this away nicely onto the onside for 1. Yusuf doing the fielding there.
Bjorn Fortuin, of course, probably bowls more at the power play these days than he bowls anywhere else, but held back in this innings. And, well, we've got 2 left-handers at the crease, so that'll be the reason.
He was looking for a single there, was Eddie Moore. Not able to get it. Tidy first over, just 4 from it after 8. Western Province 63 for 4.
Always interesting to look at the DLS bar score, just to give you an indication of which team might feel the happiest. And those loss of 2 quick wickets really hurting Western Province, because the DLS par now is 68. So they're 5 runs behind, and that'll be because they're 4 wickets down. Their required rate is 6.9 to the over. But as we saw in the Lions innings, as the ball gets softer and older, scoring could become a lot more difficult.
Right, the reintroduction of Delano Potgieter from the caller drive end. Round the wicket. And this is hit on the bounce to backward point. The crowd nearly being lured in, Ken, with a bit of a dummy there.
Well, they're enthusiastic. There's a nice little concentration of spectators, I guess, from where George Linder's batting now at deep backward square leg. So it's a nice view from there. You're quite close to the middle where this pitch is placed.
Oh, he's nearly undone him there. Ball just coming back on the angle. And crucially for the Lions, another dot ball.
Delano Potgieter doesn't always bowl that much for the Lions, but he's a useful seam bowler. And this pitch could well suit his skiddy approach.
Mistimed, and what an incredible catch. One hand backtracking, and the skipper Bjorn Fortuin plucks it like an apple out the tree.
I'm not sure who he was telling to keep quiet, because the finger went to the lips, but well, why not? You take a catch like that, I think you can celebrate in just about any way you see fit. Wonderful effort by Bjorn Fortuin. It looked like it was going to go over his head, but man, he timed his jump to perfection, and the long arm of the captain reeled that one in.
We spoke when Dom was on air about how good the Lions have been in the field, and just another magic moment here. Jimmy Khamadi will take all the all the credit in collaboration with his players, because he's really worked hard to ensure that they hit the mark, and Abdallah Bayumi will be the replacement. He comes to the wicket, and Ken Edimoe almost feeling like he's having to watch things fall apart from the other end. Watches the bricks start tumbling from the wall.
Yeah, he'd just seen the team past 50. They were looking good. 51 for 2 inside the 6th over, and suddenly it's now 63 for 5. George Linder, perhaps a bit of a rash stroke. We saw, you know, in the Lions innings that the pitch is too paced, and particularly this length, you'll see some of these skid through, other than kind of just sticking the pitch a bit with a bit of tennis ball bounce, and you know, trying to slap that over middle, maybe a bit too optimistic so early in your innings on the surface.
Yeah, coming back to the celebration, you would have thought it would have been better suited were it an away game for the Lions. Maybe he's just practicing for the next one against the Northwest Dragons.
Maybe it was, oh, shut up, I caught that.
Squeezed away, not able to get any reward from it. This is a brilliant over from Delano Potgieter, and he's having an incredible game here, Ken, with the ball in hand. You said he doesn't bowl all that much, but boy oh boy, at 2 for 3, probably wouldn't ask for a better day with ball in hand.
Yeah, he's only bowled 40 overs previously in 31 matches.
Which indicates what, 1 or 2 overs a game?
Yeah, he's kind of like that fill-in sort of
Fifth bowler.
Part-time fifth bowler, yeah.
And certainly proving that he's more than capable with the old Kookaburra in hand. Just 1 ball remaining in this, the 9th, and you'll see the mathematics there. The run rate required and run rate achieved were on par with one another, 7.4. And a dot to finish the over. So it's a wicket maiden for Delano Potgieter. 9 gone at 63 for 5.
And suddenly that rate required is up to 7.5 now to the over. The DLS par is 80. So that difference has more than doubled now with the loss of that 5th wicket as well. 17 runs behind on DLS West Province. Not that I think there's any rain imminent. Of course, you don't want to give any frights to listeners down in the Cape. There was a lovely full moon, or nearly full moon, that was shining over the ground a bit earlier. And I'm pretty sure we're going to get these last 11 overs in. World Sport Betting Western Province needing 83 to win in those 11 overs.
Edimoe is crucial for this chase. But with the Bjorn Fortuin, with Bjorn Fortuin rather, who's enjoying this slightly different job that he's been tasked with this evening, or tasked himself with rather. And just as you talk up a player, he's decided to just humble himself a little bit.
That came out horribly wrong for poor old Bjorn Fortuin.
Better this time, straighter. This works this to the onside for the single.
So Bjorn Fortuin, I imagine it was probably a very definite plan of the Lions to save him for the 2 left-handers, Moore and George Linder, because they're also the 2 batsmen who have the highest strike rate for Western Province this season. So obviously 2 very key figures, Edimoe and George Linder. Linder's gone, and now the DP World Lions will be very keen to get Edimoe out.
Bayumi gets off the mark with that little push. They think about a second and decide safety first. Bayumi just having had it twice before this game, and so now an opportunity for him to kind of see where his strengths may lie and where he may look to attack. Bit of an attacking stroke there from Eddie Moore and his friend this evening, Ken, Rassie van der Dussen, doing the fielding.
Yeah, Eddie Moore. There's a bit of a Graham Smith about him, in that he's a big guy. He kind of, just his body language and his sort of
bullish.
Yeah, that's a good word. You can tell he wants to dominate up here in the middle.
Full toss, and he's been let off the hook there, has Bjorn Fortuin, just the one from it.
Of course, we still have to see the introduction of Garber Peter, the leg spinner, who has some deliveries which might be very effective on this pitch, getting through those top spinners. He bowled a lot of people through the gate last season.
Tries to squeeze this behind backward point and immediately sent back as Makwetu looks like he's caught it awkwardly. Maybe his thumb has been jammed, but it's the halfway mark, and at the end of 10 overs, the Western Province side in search of this target are 68 for 5, and you should also be searching for tickets on cricket.co.za as the Proteas women will take on England this summer for 3 T20 internationals, 3 one-day matches, including Black Day on the 8th of December, and 1 test match from the 15th to the 18th of December. As we said, visit cricket.co.za for more information and tickets. Hashtag #WasANawe. Be part of it.
So Abdallah Bayumi on strike now for Western Province.
Not quite timing it as he would have liked. Good start here from Potgieter. Just continuing on the gravy train, so to speak.
Bayumi, he played for the SA Under-19s 2 years ago. Made his debut for Western Province last year.
Swiped at that one. Surprisingly looking to maybe go to the onside where the boundary is much longer, and immediately the senior statesman in Moore is just coming down the wicket to say, take a deep breath. I know what you're trying to do. I see it, but maybe let's be a little bit more sensible about it.
Yeah, given the two-pace nature of the pitch, the Lions in a way are setting the trap with middle from mid on up in the ring, inviting the head over the top.
It's well directed from Abdallah Bayumi. We'll get one for it. This one is picked up in the deep.
And log on now going back, as you'd expect, for the well set Eddie Moore. There's also a deep square leg and a deep mid wicket in place.
Bit of a half shot there from the Lions. As you mentioned, Eddie Moore, he's got that body language, like he really wants to go out there and show how good he is.
He was initially considered more of a red ball sort of opener, and when he came to Cape Town, really transformed his game into a proper T20 basher.
Nearly chopped that one on. He didn't quite know where it was, and you can see the frustration from Eddie Moore.
You know, he's, for a guy who's timed the ball beautifully so far in his innings, you can just see it's starting to become a little bit tricky for him, and we saw this with the Lions as well. Normally very fluid stroke players like Rassie van der Dussen, Evan Jones, Delano Potkida, it just became tough for them towards the back end to get the ball away.
Especially, Ken, you've got to think when you've got guys bowling a couple of variation balls as we end the 11th at 69 for 5, 77 more runs to win. When guys are bowling those variation balls, it can be incredibly frustrating because you feel like you've played the right stroke and maybe you feel like you've timed it perfectly, but the ball's just not coming off the bat, bit of a greasy surface as well. That's when the fielding side feel like they can just pour the salt into the wounds there and really exacerbate things.
Yeah, that's right. It was a good call by the Lions to win the toss and bat first. Often the temptation at the Wanderers is to chase because it has been difficult to defend in the past. But we've seen this season so far that under lights, the ball tends to do a bit. We had a lot of rain last night. I think there's still moisture around from that. So there's been assistance for all the bowlers. And well, it's going to be very interesting now to see how this young man goes. The hero of last season's CSA T20 Challenge triumph.
Short and absolutely dispatched. That's gone way back onto the embankment. And what a welcome to the game for Ngaba Peter. First ball 6.
Not what he would have wanted. No, but Peter, horrible long up. Everything went badly wrong here for him.
Bayumi really giving it his all there. And now Ngaba Peter just asking Philip Vosloo if he could borrow the communal towel. Just try and keep things nice and dry, help grip the ball a bit better. Great shot though by Bayumi. And he follows up with a full toss. Maybe overgripped that time. They'll just get 1 for it.
He generally has pretty good control, does Ngaba Peter. That's been one of the most impressive aspects of his game. Speaking of impressive, the guy sitting out tonight in this Lions attack, Junaid Dawood, he's had a phenomenal season.
13 wickets.
Yeah, as kind of Ngaba Peter's replacement, really. They did play together last week in Paarl. Dawood, 13 wickets, as you say. He was the leading wicket taker in the competition.
Can't quite get the timing, can Eddie Moore. He's been starved a little bit of the strike, and now that he's back on strike, not able to quite match his partner who's going at a runnable. A little bit short there from Ngaba Peter. He's let off the hook there as Moore gets to the other end.
He's bowling quite briskly, which can also lead to it being a little bit more on the short side rather than flight it up, as we see for the right-hander now. We've got Point coming into the circle. Mid-off is going around a bit to an extra cover.
Bowled a quicker one there. Good bit of awareness from Bayumi just to nurse this onto the onside for the single. Rather, other than the first ball of the over, Ken, fairly tidy. Still 9 from it and 1 more to come.
Yeah, that's a problem when you can see the 6th first ball in the over. It becomes very difficult to escape without double figures coming off you.
Oh goodness. Absolutely bamboozled him. And he's done just that. Gotten out the over without double figures. At the end of 12, the WSB Western Province side, 78 for 5. They need 68 to win from 48 deliveries.
So that last ball was beautifully bowled by Marvin Peter. That's almost his trademark, actually. He's a leg spinner, but it's the ones that don't turn, the ones that almost like an arm ball, that cause the most problems. There was some lovely drift there as well. Bowled quite quickly, more pushing forward, and it just went straight on, whizzed past his outside edge. A wonderful piece of bowling by Marvin Peter.
The return of Cody Yusuf from the call-it drive end. Yusuf having bowled 2 overs, 1 for 12.
Bowled very well up front, and I had a feeling this pitch would suit him, his skiddy style of bowling.
We really didn't look comfortable with that one as Bayumi was squared up. He gets away relatively unscathed. And you mentioned, Ken, how good he can be on the surface. Cody Yusuf getting rid of Bird for just the second ball of the game. It's caught by Potgieter, and that meant that the Lions had Western Province 0 for 1 and then 2 for 2.
Yeah, defending just 146. Early wickets always very important for the Lions, and Cody Yusuf and Kwena Mapaka certainly delivering in that regard.
Coming around the wicket, hit straight over his head, bludgeoned, and in an emphatic way to break the shackles. It's gone for 4.
Well, there, that was a really almost bullying the bowler here. I think Cody Yusuf was hoping it was even further above his head than it was, because he got a fright there. That came back very quickly at him. What a powerful blow by Eddie Moore.
Back-to-back boundaries. Gave himself some room and just carved this away. And nothing much the fielder in the deep could do. Wonderful stroke, and Moore looks like he's on the tear.
He's good at creating space for himself, Eddie Moore. He often clears that front leg, almost leans back, and then just flays the ball away. And while he is there, Western Province have still got a good chance of winning this game.
So the calculations are being made as Yusuf and Fortuin chat to one another. Fine leg in the ring. Long on is out. A cow corner and a deep square, as well as a man sweeping in the covers and third man. It's a good response from Cody Yusuf. Back-to-back boundaries, and he needed to come right there, because when Eddie Moore gets going, he can be destructive.
Yeah, I think those 2 boundary balls, he was just a little too full, Cody Yusuf. The first ball of the over that he bowled to Bayumi, that reared up and had the batsman looking quite uncomfortable, that's the sort of length I think he's trying to find.
Doesn't beat the man in the ring. Great bit of fielding there to cut off the runs. They do get 1 for it, but throwing his body around the ground, Mitchell van Buren.
One of the top fielders in the country, Mitchell van Buren, really fantastic in the ring, and you don't want to be taking too many chances when he's in the vicinity of the ball.
Serious conversation with Fortuin and Yusuf, scheming and plotting. Last ball of the 13th. Just opens the blade nicely there, does Bayumi. He gets to the other end. He'll retain the strike at the end of Yusuf's third over. 13 gone, 89 now for 5.
Just to update you on some of the scores elsewhere in the country. Of course, this is a very important week in the CSA T20 Challenge competition in terms of sorting out the top 4, who goes through to the playoffs. Well, the Warriors have fought back to give themselves a chance against Gold Rush Borant. The Warriors chasing 172. They're 124 for 5. and so they need 48 to win off 26 balls, which is certainly doable.
They were in some serious trouble, Ken, earlier at 54 for 4, so they've done well to resurrect the innings after it might have been accused of being dead and buried. Fortain replacing Peter. Comes down the wicket, does Bayumi, just to work this away to the onside. Think about a second, but immediately that idea is shut down.
And yeah, the Warriors do have Patrick Kruger well set at the crease. He's on 26 off 14 balls, but they have just lost the 6th wicket, that of Jean du Plessis, for 34 off 31 balls.
I suspect Moore is going to go after Fortain, and he does exactly that. Comes down the wicket, inside out, through to that extra cover boundary, and it's a 4.
Yeah, short boundary for the left-hander, and really a quality shot. Picked his spot really well.
Just had a feeling, Ken, the way that he was going to look to eye up Fortain and go after him. Sense that frustration will either lead to runs or wickets. And I'm not making a comment to just be facetious and just say, well, one or the other, but rather boundary runs or a wicket here for Fortain.
Yeah, that last ball by Fortain, just a bit tighter. The boundary ball, he maybe just gave Eddie Moore a little bit too much width to free the arms.
Down the wicket, and we're at risk here. High, over, and we nearly comped it on the head. What a stroke by Eddie Moore. Glorious stuff there. We're ducking and diving for cover here in the comm box. We should maybe chat to the local helmet sponsor. We're at serious risk. What a great stroke. It's gone for 6.
It's okay. We had Dom Hendricks up off his seat. He was covering. He was ready to catch it.
100 up for the WSB Western Province side, and an incredible way to go to the 100, Ken.
What a shot by Eddie Moore. Superbly struck. We're on the 2nd floor here at the Wanderers, and that hit above us. It hit the railing on the 3rd floor above us. An almighty hit by Eddie Moore.
Now suddenly 49 from 39 deliveries, 11 from the over. What more might we yet see, Ken? Just works this to the man in the ring there and gets a single for it. And that's 50 for Eddie Moore, all for 40 deliveries. It's a hard-fought 50. He's come to the wicket before he even took guard. He was already receiving some thoughts from the DP World Lions players, but he's managed to put together a great fighting knock here to give Western Province a chance. 45 from 37. It's always a tight game between these two sides, it seems, in the CSA T20 Challenge. I don't know if Lions fans nor Western Province fans could take the stress of another super over. It's the end of 14. Time for a change in comms. The protective Dom Hendricks will replace me to join you, Ken.
The safe under the high ball, Dominic Hendricks. And speaking of safe under the high ball, just a reminder of the 1 million rand one-hand catch competition. Stand a chance to win 1 million rand at the end of the T20 Challenge tournament. Simply catch the ball one-handed off a 6 during a televised T20 Challenge match. The catch must be captured and clearly visible on stadium video or TV camera broadcast, as it will be audited. Visit www.cricket.co.za for more information. Hashtag #WasAnawe, hashtag be part of it, and being part of it now. Dominic Hendricks, Tom. 45 needed off 6 overs. I think we could be in for a hell of a finish here.
Yeah, this has been a very, very entertaining game thus far. Eddie Moore playing an incredible knock to this point. keeping them well within touching distance of this total. They're just needing 7.5 runs to the over. So it's going to be a very, very interesting finish to this game.
Yeah, and Quentin Parker is back on. He got a wicket in his first over, but he bowled a few wides, not at his best this evening. 2 overs, 1 for 24. Here he is to Eddie Moore. Oh my goodness, that has slipped out. It's going to be a no ball and a free hit. And Quentin Parker just seems to be struggling today. He had a bit of a break from the team to prepare for exams and things like that, and I just wonder if maybe he's a bit rusty.
Yeah, just looking at this again, looked like he attempted like some sort of backer than slow ball there, and it's just slipped out. Luckily enough for Eddie Moore, has managed to take some evasive action. But unluckily for the DP World Lions, this is now a free hit to the man that's on 50. So
yeah, where do you think he's going to bowl, Dom?
I think he's going to go full and wide here.
And there we have it. And Eddie Moore backed away. So no wide, a dot ball, and called brilliantly by Dominic Hendricks.
Yeah, as you mentioned earlier, he does seem a little bit rusty. So a couple of days in the books and a couple of days without training. It's just a touch off the pace this evening, but nothing that can't be solved with 1 or 2 good training sessions.
Yeah, we saw how well Wesley Bedger came back with the ball for Western Province earlier today. That's nicely bowled right in the block hole. Bedger went for 10 runs in his last 2 overs. He got a wicket as well. Key wicket of Connor Esterhuizen. So Bayumi on strike. He would have probably played against Quentin Parker a bit on the under-19 circuit a couple of years ago. That one going the other way across the right-hander from the Parker.
Not quite carrying to the keeper though, so that was an interesting one. Most of them have carried through this evening. But by the looks of it, Connor Esterhuizen's taken the gloves off Wandi Makwetu. I think he must have been struggling with that finger of his. He's taken a few blows this evening. It is slightly cooler today, so any sort of blow to a fingertip does pain a little bit more in these sort of conditions.
Beautifully bowled by Quentin Parker. Pace off, but still superb control right in the block hole. You're looking forward to, perhaps not this year, but early next year, having Quentin Parker in your attack for the four-day stuff?
Yeah, no doubt about that. It brings the left arm element to our bowling attack, and then he's also got a bit of pace, so something you're always looking for. Young, fast, and a strike bowler in any 4-day team. You're always looking for those. Ooh.
And again, full in length, and Bayumi can't do anything with that. Yeah, the lovely thing about Quentin Parker, well, one of the many lovely things, he's only in the trick. So, I mean, he's going to definitely put on a yard or two once he fills out and becomes a full-blown adult.
Yeah, definitely. I think the important thing is managing his workload in the next couple of months. So once those exams are finished, he does have a lot of cricket on the cards. Possibly playing for the Proteas in December, who knows? But definitely playing in the SA20, and then back with us again in February for the rest of our campaign. So workload's going to be key to managing him.
Oh, beautifully bowled. Parker, and very nearly the end of Abdullah Bayumi there. So an excellent over by Quentin Parker, despite it starting with a no ball for a beamer. And we often get asked the question, as it's 103 for 5 after 15 overs, just how quick Quentin Parker is. He can get it up above 140, can't he, Dom?
Yes, he can. I remember facing him last season for the first time in the nets, and quite effortlessly just ran up off a couple of yards and got it flying past my nose at 140 clicks. So not the slowest guy. But looking at the comparative scores after 15 overs, only 6 runs in it. The Lions were 109 for the loss of 5 at the same point, so pretty much head-to-head at the moment. Again, it's going to be a very, very entertaining last 30 balls, this. And most importantly, I think Eddie Moore is going to have to do the bulk of the scoring and be not out at the end to get Western Province over the line here and keep their campaign alive.
Yeah, and conversely for the DP World Lions, they obviously need to get Eddie Moore out. That's the main priority for them at the moment. And so Evan Jones comes back. He conceded 3 boundaries in his first over, another one in his second over. Let's see what he can do now to Moore. Slower ball to start with. Moore wants 2. He's coming back for 2. And well run.
Very, very well run. Not the worst throw in the deep from Cody Youssef, but Eddie Moore in and out the blocks there real quick and safely home for 2.
You mentioned that during the Lions innings, Dom, about how that massive leg side boundary really creates opportunities for 2s. And there was a prime example, pushing it just past the square leg umpire, and the fielder on the boundary had so far to come in. And again, well bowled by Evan Jones.
Yeah, often overlooked at the longer boundary. You get caught up so much. I've seen it so many times in white ball cricket. You get caught up trying to get to the shorter boundary that you forget that there's a lot of real estate on the longer side, and there's lots of 2s that are on offer.
Just a bit of top dog machismo there between Jones and Moore. It's well bowled again. Oh, misfield. He was thinking of the throw before he had picked up the ball, unfortunately, and it's going to cost an extra run.
Yeah, that was very uncharacteristic of the Lions in the last couple of games. They've been very, very tidy in the field. I mean, we saw that catch earlier. You were on commentary with David. Bjorn Fortuin plucking an apple off a tree over there. So
that's just going to be a 1 on that occasion. Yeah, Dom, it was interesting to chat to Russell Domingo after the Bloemfontein game, where the Lions beat the Knights, and I think one of the all-time great fielding performances by them. Just the catches they took. There were 3 or 4 absolute screamers. There were 2 run-outs, and he said it's something that they've worked really hard on this season because they felt it wasn't a strength of theirs last season.
yeah, definitely. And just speaking to a couple of players before this campaign started, they sort of said that the campaign of the Lions and one of the secrets to their success towards the back end of the competition was being a lot better in the field than they were in the first half of the competition. So definitely a point that was made in a couple of the chats that were had before this campaign.
Evan Jones just fine-tuning a very square deep third man, and it goes to that man.
Interesting enough, Abdullah Bayoumi was batting so far outside off that you could see all 3 stumps there, so trying to suck Evan Jones into bowling at the stumps and opening up that leg side potentially, but you must be very, very careful, because if you go too far across, you sometimes do struggle to actually just get contact on the ball. So interesting, a bit of game of cat and mouse that the 2 of them are playing over here.
And potentially 2 excellent overs back-to-back for the Lions. Let's see how Jones finishes. Oh, it's well put away by Eddie Moore. He waited very well for that slower ball, and it is saved. A scrambling effort down there on the boundary. But
great piece of work by Cody Youssef in the deep there.
And only 2 runs, it looks like. An excellent over, though, by Evan Jones at this stage of the inning. Oh, no, they ran through. 9 off the over. An important 3 off the last ball there. So Western Province now need 34 runs to win off 4 overs. Dom, at this stage now, I mean, it's clearly becoming very critical to get rid of Eddie Moore. How would you go about that if you were the captain in the field right now?
So, personally, I would think at this point, getting him off strike as much as possible, I think would be the key. If they could bowl as many balls as they can to Bayumi or whichever batter is coming in on the other side, and try and starve any more of the strike. Because again, they need 8.5 runs and over with 4 to go. So, if he could maybe face 2 at most 3 balls and over, I think now more than anything is about damage limitation, bowling to sort of Eddie Moore, the sort of form that he's shown this evening.
And you can obviously use the long and short boundaries to try and manipulate him into taking just one. As Cody Yusuf is back, bowling to Eddie Moore. 59 or 48 balls, Eddie Moore. It's been a great effort by the Western Province stalwart. Just the one to the cover sweeper, so there, exactly what the Lions wanted, Dom.
Yeah, exactly that. And now key for Cody to try and find a dot or 2 here to Bayumi, sort of put him under a bit more pressure. He's only been 15 of 20 balls so far. But with that single, we see the 50-run partnership between these two come up with 48 balls. So if Cody can bowl at least one, and being really, really greedy at 2 dot balls to Bayumi, puts them under a lot of pressure going into the last 3 overs.
Again, nice and full from Cody Yusuf again. Just the single. Abdullah Bayumi is obviously not that experienced. So the Lions will be trying to work on him a bit in terms of the mind games. Just try and make him feel pressure, do something rash.
He's done brilliantly so far, getting, especially in this sort of situation, getting Eddie Moore back on strike. I think that's going to be the key for him over here.
Launched over long on. That's a massive blow by Evan Jones, by Eddie Moore, halfway up the bank. And a huge 6 to just ruin the over a bit for Cody Yusuf.
Yeah, great piece of batting here, getting deep into his crease and getting outside off stump. And having a good swing of that willow over cow corner for 6 runs. Disappointingly, no one in the crowd has got a hand to that, but it looks like the kids are scrapping over trying to keep the ball.
There's a security guard that's just going to say, no kids, you can't have that, it belongs on the field. Do you think Cody erred maybe in going full again? That delivery maybe just becoming a little bit too predictable in this over.
Yeah, exactly that. I think the key here is that unfortunately he doesn't have his 2-men back like third man and fine leg, so having to be a little bit fuller, but you can still bowl a slow ball into the wicket and let the wicket do the work, much like Western Province did.
Well, I was going to say it's better, but it's a better strike by Eddie Moore.
Oh, and it's dropped in the crowd by a spectator. He's lined it up beautifully. Had a load of time to try and catch that for 50,000 rand, and he's unfortunately put it down.
Oh, it was a steepling hit by Eddie Moore. Worth another watch again, getting outside all stump. Wonderful full flow of the bat. And oh, he had it. He was right underneath it, the young man. So suddenly Western Province just need 20 to win. And there are 20 balls left. So Eddie Moore has got it down to run a ball. And unless the Lions can get wickets now and quickly, it seems the visitors are going to be taking the spoils here at DP World Wanderers tonight. Nicely steered, straight to the man. So just a single. But I think Eddie Moore will be delighted with how this over has gone. 15 off it. I think he won't mind at all if Bayumi even plays out a dot.
No, not at all.
He'll have strike for the last over. Or, no, for the 17th over. Yeah. 18th over, rather. Into the pitch for once, but well hooked away by Bayumi. And it's going to be the best of both worlds because he's going to get 2 and Eddie Moore will be on strike for the beginning of the 18th over. 129 for 5 and Western Province need just 17 more to win of 18 deliveries.
A really, really well crafted knock this evening so far by Eddie Moore. Just showing how to do it with the bat. Again, looking at that last 6, heaved over long on, and we'll have another look at that opportunity that was missed in the crowd by this gentleman. Could have been 50,000 Rand richer this evening if he'd managed to keep that in his hand.
He's still talking about the one that just got away. And here is a very interesting move by the line. Garber Peter, the leg spinner. A roll of the dice really, but he has bowled at the death last season and did it very effectively for the Lions.
Yeah, definitely. And I will say this, leg spinners have a knack of taking wickets. As you've seen this season so far, Junaid Dawood, top of the wickets so far. Another leg spinner that's not unfortunately playing tonight, but a roll of the dice here to see if Mr. Peter can get a wicket for the Lions here and open this game up.
With the spin for the left-hander but on the leg side, but there are 3 fielders on the boundary, on the long boundary, and it's a dot ball to start. Well bowled from Garber Peter. Little short and slashed away by Eddie Moore. Hit very hard, but tidy fielding.
You can almost feel the tension in the stadium here. No one really making too much noise. Definitely a big over in the context of this game. If Ngaba Peter can get a wicket over here, it opens things right up for the DP World Lions. And yeah, the crowd gone quite quiet right now.
There's a kind of hush, no doubt about it. And he's bowled in.
Taken a wicket.
Chopped on a fancy by Abdullah Bayumi. But Ngaba Peter has just opened up an end here, perhaps, for the DP World Lions.
Again, leg spinners and wickets. They have a knack of taking wickets. They somehow find a way. Bayumi playing a great assisting role to Eddie Moore. What a great partnership they put on here. Having a look at it again. But wicket through the air. He's gone back to that one and he's chopped it on.
I guess he was expecting it maybe to be the normal leg spinner and thought he had more width than he did. But it just kept coming back at him. And it comes off the pitch quickly as well, doesn't it, Ngaba Peter?
Possibly not experiencing it enough times playing sort of leg spinners at night, where it does tend to skid on a little bit more and rush you for pace. So you're always looking as much as you can to get forward to sort of spin under the lights. And with that wicket brings to the crease Kyle Simmons, the left-hander. So 2 left-handers at the crease. 3 balls in this over to go, and it's only gone for a single run so far. So the World Sports Betting Western Province lead another 16 of 15. And I'm sure that the Lions would love another wicket, or another dot or 2 to sort of close this over out. Sort of put the pressure right back on the batting side here, going into the last 2 overs.
Kyle Simmons is very handy with the bat. Nicely bowled, Ngaba Peter. That one was slower and drifted right up there. Kyle Simmons has a career strike rate of just below 120 in the CSA T20 Challenge. A 2-leg sidey for LBW, but it's a good ball by Ngaba Peter because it's just a leg by.
You could see what he was trying to do there, sort of try and rush him for a bit of pace there off the surface and try and trap him in front, but on this occasion a little bit too much on the straight side.
15 to win off 13 balls now for Western Province, and Eddie Moore on strike. Does he go for the boundary, or does he just try to make sure that he's back on strike for the start of the penultimate over? No, he'll take the strike. Just tickled away for the single. Excellent over by Ngaba Peter, the wicket, and just 2 runs off the bat and a leg by. 132 for 6 after 18. Western Province need 14 to win of 12 balls. And options in terms of the Lions bowling. Parker's still got 1, Jones has got 1, Potkin has got 1, Fontaine has got 1. So Cody Youssef, the only bowler who has bowled out so far. It's going to be Evan Jones who's back into the attack.
And interesting enough here, the field that he's set, he's brought deep square leg up. He's in the ring. We've got fine leg in the ring, third man in the ring, and we've got extra cover in the ring. So that leaves 2 men out in the deep on the offside, a deep backward point and a deep cover, as well as a long off and a long on and a cow corner.
Moore steps across outside off and wallops us over extra cover. What a glorious strike. And it's another 6 for Eddie Moore.
What a beautiful piece of batting from Eddie Moore there. Stepped across outside off stump. Jones sort of followed him and Moore said, thank you very much, I'll hit this over extra cover. Great piece of batting by him. And wonderful piece of timing. I mean, that's no short boundary. That's a good 80, 90 meters, and he's cleared that comfortably in the end.
Well, if World Sports Betting Western Province do win this game, and it looks like they're favourites to do it now with just 8 to win off 11 balls, it's taken a really quite special innings by Eddie Moore to get there. Is that inside the wide line? Moore stepped across, so the umpire says dot ball. So 8 needed off 10 balls. With the field set, it's certainly set for Evan Jones to bowl quite full, but I think I'd quite like to see him maybe as a surprise. Maybe just dig one in a little bit back of the length, maybe with pace off. Maybe see if you can draw a false stroke from Eddie Moore.
Yeah, try to maybe bluff him out of that one, or bluff him into that sort of stroke. A lot of cat and mouse here from Eddie Moore, sort of first 2 balls getting deep outside off stump and deep into the crease. What does he do on this occasion?
He stands still, yeah. He's going to get 1. Are they going to push for 2? A late decision to come back, but also a late throw from the outfield. So a comfortable 2 in the end.
It almost looked like Reza just hesitated to throw there because he was looking to go to the non-strikers end, but there was no one at the stumps. And Eddie Moore quick enough to get back for 2 there, and most importantly getting back on strike. 6 to win off 9 deliveries as Jones and Fontaine have a quick chat again.
No change to the field after that chat. That was slightly back of the length, and unfortunately another misfield is going to cost the Lions another run, which they can ill afford.
Looked like a bit of a slip from Ngaba Peter over there. And the World Sports Betting Western Province have got through for another 2. 4 required of 8 balls here. Gotta say, this one looks in the bag for Western Province, doesn't it, Kim?
Unless they can somehow get Eddie Moore out, that's really the last hope. Try and create some pressure, because if Moore gets out, then you've got the likes of Buren Hendricks, Tuwekai Nabe and Wesley Bedger to come in. Buren's not the worst with the bat, and Bedger can bat a bit. And Evan Jones refusing to bowl if Eddie Moore is going to step outside of the front like that.
And well within his right not to bowl.
Yeah, we saw it in the Lions innings when Rassie van der Dussen got into position very early to scoop. And I think it might have been George Linder who held on to the ball. Clipped away to long on for the single. So 3 runs needed now off 7 balls. Kyle Simmons on strike. And I guess there's not too much pressure on the new man at the crease. There's only 1 ball to face in this over.
One would say it's actually a free hit for him over here, because irrespective of if he goes out or not, Eddie Moore will still be on strike. So I wonder if Eddie Moore said to him, have a free hitcher, and no matter what happens, I'm still on strike in the last over with 3 to chase.
Exactly, yeah. Well, he did back away, but it's gone through to the wicketkeeper. The end of the 19th over, 143 for 6, and just 3 runs needed to win.
10 lucky students will stand a chance to win 100,000 Rand towards their outstanding tertiary fees by simply attending any of the T20 challenge games coming up. Visit www.cricket.co.za or our social media pages for more information. T's and C's apply. Hashtag was an Our Student Challenge. Hashtag be a part of it.
So, Kwena Mapaka is going to bowl the final over. He did bowl a phenomenal over, I believe it was against Western Province, in a super over. He had 10 runs to defend in the super over, which he managed to do. So he's got a lot less to play with, unfortunately, tonight. Just 3 to play with. But
everybody up on the offside here for the Lions. So 3 out on the leg side, long on, deep mid wicket, and a deep square leg.
So he can't really bowl anything that Moore can cover drive, can he? Otherwise,
No, not quite.
Game over.
Just looking at this field, it might just be some sort of slow ball to try and get him to hit it into the leg side. But just watching how Eddie Moore's batted this evening, I've got no doubt he's probably going to back away and give himself a bit of room to free those arms up. He's been quite successful playing that sort of those sort of shots this evening.
And the 3 men deep on the leg side are well in from the boundary. It's very much as if they're saving 2. Oh, he just straight down leg a bit off the pads. The shy at the stumps misses. But it's a leg by, and Moore is off strike. Not a bad outcome for the Lions, I guess.
Great piece of work from Connor Esterhuizen with glove on there to get that throw off. Looked like it could have been very, very close if that had hit the wickets directly. 2 to win of 5, and most importantly, Moore off strike for the Lions, and Kyle Simmons on strike.
So we are going to see some changes to the field now. Mid-wicket has come into the ring, mid-on is in the ring, mid-off. There's an extra cover, a cover, a backward point and a short third man and a short front leg. Simmons drives nicely to mid-on, just a slight fumble, and that allowed Simmons to get in from the well-struck drive to mid-on. So just 1 run to win now for Western Province, and they've got 4 balls in which to do it. And their hero, Eddie Moore, on strike on 86 of 61 deliveries. And no real change to the field, so
everybody in the ring at the moment.
Yeah, saving 1 or bust. All tied, rushing in, has he got it? Oh, missed it. No, Lava Peter. He seemed to have got underneath it. Oh, what a wicket that could have been. And Lava Peter's lying disconsolately on the turf. as the rest of the team goes to shake hands. Bjorn Fortuin looks a little bit incredulous, the Lions captain. But Western Province have won this game by 4 wickets with 3 balls to spare. And nice to see Cody Yusuf just going across to Ngaba Peter and consoling him a bit there. He came rushing in to collect that ball that had looped out square on the offside. I thought he got there.
Yeah, it looked like he did, but it looked like he was a little bit overzealous charging into that one.
So that's a happier moment for Ngaba Peter. I'm sure we'll get a replay of that dramatic final ball, but it doesn't matter. Western Province have won, and they keep themselves alive in the chase for 4th place in this CSA T20 challenge. They are now on 11 points from their 6 matches, which puts them still outside the top 4, unfortunately. But depending on what happened between Eastern Province Warriors lost to Boland tonight, so that means that Western Province are just a point behind the Warriors now on the log.
Shaken up the log a little bit, going into the last round robin fixture. But having a look at the card, Eddie Moore, 87 not out, carried his bat, or I wouldn't say carried his bat, but batted really, really well. 87 of 62 deliveries to chase the score down and be that man in the top 4 that got a 70+ score to win the game for the team. That's the most noticeable thing between the 2 teams. He was the only one to go past 50, and most importantly, got a not out and was batting in the last over.
Yeah, brilliant innings by Eddie Moore. Stayed positive throughout, but was never rash. He was always very calculated. When he went for the boundary, it was in calculated fashion. He backed himself. He hit some magnificent strokes, some towering 6s, 5 6s in all, and 5 4s as well. But a word too for Abdullah Bayoumi, who made 18 of 23, but shared in really a vital partnership with Eddie Moore after Western Province had slipped to 63 for 5.
Yeah, great piece of batting by the 2 of them. I would say that was actually the partnership that set the game up beautifully for Western Province to end up winning this encounter.
Quite extraordinary figures there by Delano Potkina. 3 overs, 2 maidens, 2 for 4. A maiden over is quite a rarity in T20 cricket. To bowl 2 is really quite exceptional, and he got a couple of wickets, so well done to Delano Potkina. Ngaba Peter bowled well, as did the other spinner Bjorn Fortuin, but just not enough runs in the end for the Lions. They'll rue a couple of fielding mishaps, I think, as well. And
most importantly, the extras column, 14 extras with 10 of them wides and a no ball. So those 14 runs are extra balls that they've had to, or a lot of them are extra balls that they've had to bowl. So yeah, just a little bit a lack of discipline in that front from the Lions this evening.
But also huge credit to Eddie Moore. There you see an 87 not out of 62 balls, taking World Sports Betting Western Province to victory. And results have gone their way tonight elsewhere in the country, because, as you mentioned, the Warriors lost to Boland and the Dolphins beat the Knights. So it means Western Province are now in 5th place on the CSA T20 Challenge standings, just 1 point behind the Warriors. And Western Province will finish up on Friday against the Knights. So that's quite a shootout between the 2 teams who are next to each other on the standings. The Warriors entertain the Titans at St George's Park, so a big match for them. And the Lions, they'll be looking to bounce back when they play the Dragons, who are currently top of the log on 19 points. So the Lions can still finish top, but they'll be extremely keen on making sure that they definitely finish in the top 2 to make sure they at least play at home in one of the playoffs.
Yeah, some interesting results, and yeah, it's blown this competition right open for a couple of teams, Western Province being one of them. So that fourth spot is all to play for in the last round of fixtures. And again, that spot at the top of the table is also all to play for between, it looks like the Lions and the Dragons. So interesting encounter coming up and some interesting games coming up.
Absolutely. So do join us this weekend on the Cricket South Africa YouTube channel or Pitch Vision for the couple of matches that we'll be covering on Saturday. Warriors versus Titans, 6 p.m. Dolphins versus Boland at 6 p.m. And we'll also be having the Division 2 final on Sunday, which is now confirmed to be at Willamore Park between Easterns and then either the Tuskers from KZN Inland or the Southwestern District Badgers. Plus, there's plenty of women's cricket this weekend as well, Saturday and Sunday from the Wanderers and Supersport Park. So we look forward to speaking to you again then, and it's a very big thank you to Dominic Hendricks and David Midgley and our outstanding Pitch Vision crew, and from me, Ken Borland, a very good night.
And gone.
Bowl them.
Gone in, don't take a punt guy.
Western Province win.
He's got him. Easy catch.
What a performance.
Hier is baie goed gespeeld.
This an excellent game of cricket.